I'm writing this in my truck right now, hands still shaking because I need to get it down while it's fresh, while I can still remember the details before my brain starts rationalizing what I saw, starts telling me it was shadows or exhaustion or anything other than what it actually was. My name is Marcus Webb and I've been a ranger at Pisgah National Forest for 6 years, and I just worked a shift that wasn't mine. A shift that shouldn't exist. A shift where I met rangers who died before I was born, and we all worked together like it was perfectly normal, and I didn't realize anything was wrong until sunrise when they all disappeared and I was left alone with the knowledge that for 12 hours I was somehow working in the wrong timeline, the wrong reality, the wrong version of this forest. And the worst part, the part that's making my hands shake so badly I can barely hold this pen, is that it felt right. It felt more real than any shift I've ever worked. And I think I want to go back. I need to start at the beginning. Context matters. Details matter. Because when I tell you what happened, you're going to think I fell asleep, had a vivid dream, confused reality with exhaustion hallucination. But I didn't. I know the difference between dreaming and being awake, and what I experienced was real. It was happening. I was there. September 14th, 2019. Saturday night. I was scheduled for Sunday day shift, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Standard weekend patrol. Visitor center duty, trail checks, answering tourist questions about waterfalls and overlooks. Easy shift. I had Saturday night free. Plans to meet friends in Asheville, have a few beers, relax before work the next morning. But at 7 p.m. Saturday, I got a call from dispatch. Ranger Charlie Knox called in sick. Could I cover his overnight shift? 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. I'd done overnight before. Quiet usually, just driving patrol routes, checking that parking areas are clear, making sure nobody's camping illegally. Boring but peaceful. Good overtime pay. I canceled my Asheville plans. Told my friends I had to work. They were annoyed but understood. I grabbed dinner, drank 2 cups of coffee, and headed to the ranger station for shift change. Here's where it gets strange. When I arrived at 7:45 p.m., the station was empty. Completely empty. Lights off. No vehicles in the lot. Charlie Knox's truck wasn't there. Made sense, he was sick. But there should have been day shift rangers finishing paperwork, cleaning up, getting ready to hand off. There was nobody. I checked my phone. Double-checked the schedule. I was definitely supposed to be here. September 14th, 8 p.m. shift start. This was right. I unlocked the station with my key. Turned on the lights. Everything looked normal. Coffee pot on the counter. Paperwork on desks. Radio charged and ready. Everything exactly as it should be except for the complete absence of any other human being. I radioed dispatch. Unit 12 to dispatch, I'm at Pisgah Station for overnight shift. Station appears to be empty. Requesting confirmation on shift coverage. Static. Then a voice I didn't recognize. Male. Older. Gruff. Unit 12, this is dispatch. Shift coverage confirmed. You're working with Units 7, 15, and 23 tonight. They'll be arriving shortly. Units 7, 15, and 23. I didn't recognize those unit numbers. Pisgah only had 12 active units. Numbers went up to Unit 12. There was no Unit 15 or 23. I assumed dispatch made a mistake. New dispatcher maybe. Confused our station with another forest's numbering system. Copy that, dispatch. I'll wait for the other units to arrive. I made coffee. Sat at the desk. Waited. And at exactly 8 p.m., 3 trucks pulled into the lot. Rangers climbed out. 3 men. All wearing Pisgah uniforms. All looking official and proper and exactly like rangers should look. They walked into the station like they belonged there. Like they'd worked there for years. The first one, tall, maybe 60 years old, gray beard, extended his hand. You must be the new guy. Marcus, right? I'm Bill. Unit 7. Been working Pisgah since '74. These are my partners, Jack, Unit 15, and Tom, Unit 23. I shook their hands. Noticed their uniforms were slightly different from mine. Older style. The patches were vintage designs. The badges were an older issue. But everything was official. Bro, these were Rangers. Just from a different era somehow. "Nice to meet you," I said, trying to hide my confusion. "I didn't realize we had additional units tonight." Bill laughed. "Oh, we're always here on Saturday nights. I've been for years. Best shift of the week. Quiet. Peaceful. Good time to catch up on patrol routes and just enjoy the forest without tourists everywhere." Jack nodded. He was younger, maybe 40, stocky build. "You'll like overnight. We cover a lot of ground, but it's mostly just driving and checking. Nothing exciting usually happens. Though sometimes." He trailed off, exchanged a look with Tom. Tom was the youngest of the three, maybe early 30s, nervous energy. "Sometimes we get weird calls. Strange sightings. Things that don't make it into official reports, if you know what I mean." I didn't know what he meant, but I nodded anyway. We divided up the patrol routes. I got the northern sector. Bill took east. Jack took west. Tom took south. We'd check in every hour on the radio. Standard procedure. Everything felt normal, professional, routine. Except it wasn't normal. Because as I drove my patrol route, I started noticing things that were wrong. Subtle things. Things you wouldn't notice unless you'd worked this forest for years. The roads were different. Not majorly, same general routes. But some turns were sharper. Some straightaways were longer. Like the geography had shifted slightly. Like I was driving familiar roads in an unfamiliar configuration. The campgrounds looked different too. Older picnic tables. Different bathroom facilities. The signs were vintage, weathered wood instead of the modern metal ones we'd installed 3 years ago. Everything looked like it was from the 70s or 80s. Everything looked like I'd gone back in time. I radioed Bill. "Unit 7, this is Unit 12. Quick question. When were the campground facilities last updated?" Bill's voice came back immediately. "Updated? Hell, Marcus, they've been the same since I started in 74. What? Something broken?" "No, just wondering." But inside I was starting to panic. Because I knew those facilities had been replaced in 2016. I'd been working here when they did the renovation. New bathrooms. New tables. New signs. But none of that existed on this shift. Everything was old. Original. Like the renovation never happened. I kept driving. Kept checking my assigned areas. And every location I visited looked wrong. Right but wrong. Familiar but from a different decade. Like I was patrolling a version of Pisgah National Forest that existed 40 years ago. At 10 p.m. we all met at the Davidson River Campground for our hourly check-in. Bill, Jack, Tom, and me. Standing in a circle under the parking lot lights. Comparing notes. They were talking about routine stuff. Empty campsites, quiet trails, no incidents. Everything normal for them. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was fundamentally wrong. These rangers. These roads. This version of the forest. None of it fit with the reality I knew. None of it matched the Pisgah I'd worked for 6 years. "Bill," I said carefully, "can I ask you something? What year did you say you started working here?" 1974. 25 years ago. Best decision I ever made. 25 years ago from 1974 would make it 1999. But it was 2019. Bill should have said 45 years ago. Unless for Bill it was 1999. Unless I hadn't just traveled to a different version of the forest. I traveled to a different time. And these rangers, Bill, Jack, Tom, they weren't my colleagues. They were ghosts. Or echoes. Or rangers from 1999 somehow overlapping with my 2019 shift. I should have been terrified. Should have radioed for help. Should have driven straight out of the forest and never come back. But I didn't. Because working with Bill and Jack and Tom felt right. Felt good. Felt like the kind of rangering I'd always wanted to do. No bureaucracy. No paperwork. No tourists. Just us in the forest in the night. Simple. Pure. Perfect. We continued the shift. Drove our routes. Checked our sectors. Radioed in every hour. And with each hour I felt less like I was in the wrong place and more like I'd found exactly where I was supposed to be. This version of the forest. This time. These rangers. This was better than 2019. Better than modern Pisgah with its crowds and regulations and constant noise. This was Pisgah as it used to be. As it should be. At 2 a.m. we stopped at the ranger station again. Made fresh coffee. Sat around talking. Bill told stories about bears he'd relocated. Jack described a rescue he performed in '87. Tom talked about the time a hiker got lost for 3 days and they found him building a shelter like he was planning to live there permanently. Good stories. Ranger stories. The kind of stuff you can't learn in training. The kind of knowledge that only comes from decades in the forest. I asked Bill about the weird calls Tom had mentioned. The strange sightings. The things that don't make it into official reports. Bill got quiet. Looked at Jack and Tom. They had a silent conversation with their eyes. Finally Bill said, "You ever see something in these mountains that you can't explain?" "Like what?" "Like rangers who shouldn't be there. Rangers from the wrong time. Rangers who died years ago but still show up for their shifts because they love this job too much to let death stop them." My blood went cold. "What are you saying?" Jack leaned forward. "We're saying we're dead, Marcus. Have been for years. Bill died in 1999. Heart attack while on patrol. I died in 2003. Car accident on the way to work. Tom died in 2011. Fell on a trail. Broke his neck. We're ghosts, echoes, whatever you want to call us. But we're not alive. We haven't been for a long time." I stood up. Backed away from the table. "That's not possible. You're here. You're solid. You're real." "We are real," Tom said gently. "Just not alive. There's a difference. We keep showing up for our shifts because this is where we belong. This forest is ours. Was ours. Will always be ours. And sometimes, on certain nights when conditions are right, living rangers like you slip into our shift. Work with us. Experience what it was like when we were still breathing." "Why?" I whispered. "Why am I here?" Bill stood. Put his hand on my shoulder. His hand was solid. Warm. Real. "Because you belong here too, Marcus. You love this forest the way we loved it. You understand what it means to be a ranger. Not just a job. A calling. A purpose. And the forest knows. It recognizes rangers who truly belong. And it shows them the truth. Shows them what rangering used to be. What it could be again. What it is underneath all the modern noise and bureaucracy." "I need to leave," I said. "I need to get out of here." "You can leave any time," Jack said. "Doors unlocked. Trucks outside. You can drive away right now if you want. But you won't. Because you don't want to leave. You want to stay. You want to keep working this shift. Keep patrolling with us. Keep experiencing this version of the forest where everything makes sense and rangers still matter and the job is pure." He was right. I didn't want to leave. Didn't want this shift to end. Didn't want to go back to 2019 with its crowds and noise and the constant feeling that modern rangering had lost something essential. We worked the rest of the shift together. 4 rangers, 3 dead, 1 living, patrolling a forest that existed in multiple times simultaneously. And it was the best shift I've ever worked. The most real. The most right. The most true to what I thought rangering would be when I first applied for this job. At 7:30 a.m. as sunrise started painting the sky, Bill radioed. "All units return to station. Shifts ending." We met in the parking lot, the 4 of us, standing in the early morning light, and I could see them starting to fade. Not disappear, fade. Like photographs left in the sun too long. Their edges getting blurry. Their features getting less distinct. "What's happening?" I asked even though I knew. "Sunrise," Bill said. His voice was quieter now, distant. "Our shift ends at sunrise. Always has. We go back to wherever we go. And you go back to your time. To 2019. To your regular shift. Can I come back? Can I work with you again?" Tom smiled. He was barely visible now. Just an outline. "You'll know when the conditions are right. When the forest calls you. When you're supposed to slip into our shift again. It doesn't happen often. Maybe once a year. Maybe once every few years. But when it does, we'll be here. Same as always. Working our routes. Doing our job. Waiting for rangers like you who still understand what this means." They disappeared. Not dramatically. Just faded into the morning light until they were gone. And I was standing alone in the parking lot of Pisgah Ranger Station in full daylight on Sunday morning, September 15, 2019. My shift, my real shift, was supposed to start in 15 minutes. 8 a.m. I checked my phone. 7:45 a.m. Perfect timing. Like the overnight shift had never happened. Like I dreamed the whole thing. Except my truck's odometer showed I'd driven 167 miles. The exact distance of the northern patrol route I'd worked all night. And there was coffee in my thermos that I didn't remember making. And my uniform smelled like the old ranger station, wood smoke and ancient coffee and something else. Something from a different time. Other rangers started arriving for day shift. They greeted me normally. Asked why I was here so early. I told them I'd picked up Charlie Knox's overnight shift. They looked confused. Charlie worked overnight, one of them said. I saw him this morning when I came in. He's in the office right now. I went inside. Charlie was there. Healthy. Working. No sign of being sick. Hey Marcus, he said. Thought you had today off? I was covering your shift. You called in sick. Charlie frowned. I didn't call in sick. I worked my normal overnight. 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Just finished. Why would you think you were covering for me? I had no answer. Because in this timeline, the real timeline, Charlie had worked his shift normally. There had been no call asking me to cover. No reason for me to be at the station Saturday night. But I had been. I'd worked 12 hours. Driven 167 miles. Drunk coffee with 3 dead rangers who still loved their job too much to stop showing up. I went home. Tried to sleep. Couldn't. Kept thinking about Bill and Jack and Tom. Kept thinking about that version of the forest. That version of rangering. That perfect shift where everything made sense. It's been 4 years since that night. September 14, 2019. I still work at Pisgah. Still do my regular shifts. Still patrol the same roads and check the same campgrounds. But everything feels different now. Less real. Like I'm going through the motions of rangering without actually experiencing it. Like the real rangering, the true version, only happens on that other shift. The one I worked with the ghosts. I've tried to get back. Worked every overnight shift I could pick up. Driven every patrol route. Visited every location I went that night. But it's always normal. Always 2019, now 2023. Always the modern forest with its modern facilities and modern problems. Never that perfect version from 1999. Never Bill and Jack and Tom. I'm writing this because I need to remember. Need to document what happened before I start doubting it. Before I convince myself it was exhaustion or hallucination or anything other than what it was. A shift outside time, working with rangers who loved this forest so much they still patrol it decades after death. And I'm writing this because I think it's going to happen again soon. I can feel it. The same way I felt something wrong that Saturday night 4 years ago. The same pull. The same sense that conditions are aligning. That the forest is ready to let me slip back into that other shift. That other time. That other version of rangering that felt more real than reality. If it happens, when it happens, I don't think I'm coming back. I think I'll stay. Keep working with Bill and Jack and Tom. Keep patrolling that version of the forest where rangers still matter and the job still means something and everything is pure and right and perfect. They'll find my truck at the ranger station. Find it empty with the engine running and the door open and no sign of where I went. They'll search. They'll call my name. They'll wonder what happened to Marcus Webb. But they won't find me. Because I'll be working the overnight shift. The one that doesn't officially exist. The one that runs parallel to real time but slightly offset. The one where dead rangers still patrol and living rangers can join them if they're willing to give up everything else. I'm willing. I've been willing since that first night. Since I worked alongside Bill and experienced what rangering used to be. What it still is in that other version. What it could be for me if I just let go of this timeline and embrace that one. So if you're reading this and I've disappeared, you'll know where I am. You'll know what happened. You'll know I chose the wrong shift deliberately. Chose to stay with the ghosts. Chose a version of this forest that only exists in the overlap between life and death, past and present, reality and memory. And if you're a ranger, if you truly love this job the way I love it, maybe you'll get the call too. Maybe you'll show up for a shift that shouldn't exist. Maybe you'll meet Bill and Jack and Tom and me. And maybe you'll make the same choice. Stay with us. Work the overnight. Patrol the forest that exists outside time. Be the ranger you always wanted to be before modern life complicated everything. The shift is waiting. The forest is calling. And somewhere in Pisgah National Forest, on certain Saturday nights when conditions are right, 4 rangers are starting their patrol. 3 dead. 1 who chose to join them. All of us doing the job we love in the only version of reality where it still means what it should. I hope I see you there.
If these stories are keeping you hooked, subscribe and stay with us in the dark. Let's proceed with the next story.
I found the first letter nailed to a tree at Bald River Falls Overlook. Handwritten on yellowed paper. No envelope. Just a single page addressed, "To whoever finds this." I should have left it. Should have logged it as trash and moved on with my patrol. But I read it, and it was a confession. A ranger admitting to something terrible he'd done in these mountains 30 years ago. Something he'd buried. Something he'd been running from ever since. The letter ended with coordinates and a warning: don't dig. Don't look. Don't make the same mistake I did. Of course I went to the coordinates. Of course I dug. And of course I found the second letter. And then the third. And the fourth. Each one worse than the last. Each one pulling me deeper into a story that happened decades ago but never really ended. Each one written by a ranger who made a choice that damned him. And now I've made the same choice. My name is Christopher Hayes, and I've been reading letters I was never meant to find. Letters that are changing me, consuming me, turning me into the very thing the original author became. And I can't stop reading. Can't stop searching. Can't stop following this trail of confessions that leads somewhere I don't want to go but can't help following. Written on yellowed paper, weathered but preserved, nailed to an oak tree at eye level. To whoever finds this. My name is Henry Blackwood. I was a ranger in Cherokee National Forest from 1987 to 1992. I'm writing this in 2021, 34 years after the incident I'm about to describe. I'm 73 years old, dying of cancer. And I can't take this secret to my grave. Someone needs to know what I did, what I found, what I became because of it. In October 1987, I was patrolling the Bald River Falls Trail when I found human remains. Not recent. Very old. Skeletal. Buried in a shallow grave about 200 yards off the main trail. I should have reported it immediately. Should have called it in. Let the proper authorities investigate. But I didn't. Because with the bones I found something else. A box. Metal. Locked. And inside that box was money. More money than I'd seen in my entire life. $47,000 in cash. Bills from the 1970s. Bundled and wrapped and hidden with those bones, like whoever buried the body had also hidden their fortune. I took it. God help me, I took it. I reburied the bones. Took the box. Took the money. Never reported the remains. Never told anyone what I'd found. I used that money over the next 5 years. Paid off my mortgage, bought a new truck, sent my daughter to college, built the life I'd always wanted on money that belonged to a dead man, money that was probably stolen, money that came with a price I didn't understand until it was too late, because the dead man started visiting me, in dreams at first, then in waking moments, then in reflections and shadows, and every quiet moment when I was alone. He wanted his money back. Wanted me to return it. Wanted me to confess. Wanted me to pay for what I'd taken. I couldn't give it back. I'd spent it. Used it. Built my life on it. So instead I ran. Quit my job. Moved away from Cherokee. Tried to start over in a place where that dead man couldn't find me. But he followed. Because some debts transcend geography. Some wrongs can't be escaped by changing locations. For 34 years I've been running from what I did in those mountains. And for 34 years, that man has been following me. Getting closer. More persistent. More real. I'm dying now. Cancer is eating me from the inside. Fitting, I suppose. The guilt has been eating me for decades. Now it's just physical. Now it has a medical name. Now it's killing me in a way everyone can see instead of the slow internal death I've been experiencing since 1987. Before I die, I need to confess. Need to tell someone what I did. Need to warn anyone who might be tempted the way I was tempted. There are things buried in Cherokee National Forest that should stay buried. Money isn't worth what it costs to take it. Some debts can't be paid. Some dead men don't stay dead. Some choices follow you forever. If you're reading this, you're probably curious. Probably want to know where I found those remains. Where I took the money from. You're probably thinking about going there. Seeing if there's more. Seeing if you can succeed where I failed. Don't. Whatever you think you'll find, it's not worth it. The price is too high. The dead man won't let you go. He'll follow you like he followed me. He'll haunt you like he haunted me. He'll destroy everything you build on his money like he destroyed everything I built. But you won't listen. I know you won't. Because I wouldn't have listened either. Because human nature is greed and curiosity and the belief that we're smarter than the people who came before us. That we can avoid their mistakes. That we can get away with it. You can't. The coordinates are 35 degrees 21 minutes 44 seconds north, 84 degrees 9 minutes 32 seconds west. That's where I found him. That's where it started. That's where it'll start for you too if you're foolish enough to go. I'm sorry. Sorry for what I did. Sorry for what I'm about to make you do by writing this. Sorry for passing this curse along to whoever finds this letter. But I can't die with this secret. Can't go to whatever comes next without confessing. Without warning. Without trying to stop the next person from making my mistake. Don't dig. Don't look. Don't take. But you will. God forgive us both. Henry Blackwood, October 15, 2021. That was the first letter. I found it on my regular patrol. November 3, 2021. Typical autumn day in Cherokee. Cool. Overcast. Leaves falling. I was checking the Bald River Falls overlook, making sure the railing was secure, clearing trash from the viewing area. And there it was. Nailed to a tree. Fresh nail. Recent placement. Like someone had put it there knowing a ranger would find it. Knowing someone like me would read it. I should have logged it. Should have treated it as evidence of something, trespassing, vandalism, whatever. Should have followed protocol. But I read it instead. Standing there at the overlook, the falls roaring in the background, I read every word. And when I finished, I felt that pull. That terrible curiosity. That need to know if Henry Blackwood was telling the truth. If there really were remains at those coordinates. If there really was a story buried in these mountains that had haunted a man for 34 years. I told myself I was doing my job. Investigating a potential crime scene, following up on a report of human remains. All perfectly legitimate ranger work. But that was a lie. I was curious, greedy, tempted. Just like Henry knew I would be. I went to the coordinates that afternoon. November 3, 2021. 35 degrees 21 minutes 44 seconds north, 84 degrees 9 minutes 32 seconds west. About 200 yards off the Bald River Falls Trail, exactly as Henry described. Dense forest. No signs of recent human activity. Just trees and undergrowth and the quiet that comes with deep woods. I searched the area, looking for disturbed ground. Old grave markers. Anything that indicated someone had buried something here decades ago. And I found it. A depression in the ground. Subtle. Easy to miss if you weren't looking for it. But definitely there. Definitely man-made. I should have stopped. Should have called it in. Let forensics handle it if there really were human remains here. But I didn't. I started digging. Used a folding shovel I keep in my pack for trail maintenance. Dug carefully. Methodically. Like an archaeologist excavating a site. 2 feet down I found the bones. Human. Partial skeleton. Skull. Ribs. Fragments. Just like Henry described. Decades old. Buried carefully. Hidden. And next to the bones I found the second letter. Sealed in a plastic bag. Preserved. Waiting. Letter number 2 found November 3, 2021, coordinates 35 degrees 21 minutes 44 seconds north, 84 degrees 9 minutes 32 seconds west. Written on newer paper, dated recently, sealed in waterproof bag. You came. I knew you would. You're standing at the grave now, looking at the bones, wondering who they belong to, wondering if there's money here like there was when Henry found this place in 1987, wondering if you can take what he took and avoid the consequences he suffered. There's no money here anymore. Henry took it, spent it, built his life on it, and paid for it every day since. But that's not why you're here. Not really. You're here because the letter called to you, because the mystery drew you, because something in you needs to know the whole story, needs to follow this thread to its end, needs to understand what happened in these mountains and why it matters. I'm going to tell you, not because I want to, but because you've already started down the path and there's no turning back now. The moment you read Henry's letter, you became part of this. The moment you came to these coordinates, you inherited the obligation. The moment you started digging, you made yourself responsible for what comes next. My name is Robert Kane. I was a ranger in Cherokee from 1995 to 1998. 3 years after Henry Blackwood quit and ran, I found his story by accident. Found documents he'd left behind, piecing together what he'd done, where he'd found the money, what he'd taken, and I became obsessed, just like you're becoming obsessed. I needed to understand, needed to know the full truth, needed to find out who the dead man was and why his money carried such a curse. I investigated, researched, spent 3 years digging through old records and missing person reports and unsolved cases from the 1970s. And I found him. Found out who's buried at these coordinates. Found out why Henry Blackwood couldn't escape what he'd done. His name was William Cross. Disappeared in 1974. Last seen hiking in Cherokee National Forest. His family reported him missing. Search teams looked for months. Found nothing. Eventually the case went cold. William Cross was declared dead. His family moved on. His story was forgotten. Except it wasn't forgotten. Because William Cross didn't disappear. He was murdered. Right here. At these coordinates. Someone killed him. Took his money, $47,000 he'd been carrying because he was running from something, fleeing with cash, trying to start over somewhere new. Someone killed him for that money. Buried him in these woods. Left him to rot. But William Cross didn't stay buried. Not really. His body might be here, but his spirit, his consciousness, his need for justice, that never went underground. That stayed active. Stayed aware. Stayed hungry for revenge against whoever took what was his. Henry Blackwood didn't kill William Cross. But he took William's money. And that made him responsible. That made him the target. That made him the one William would haunt for the rest of his life. And now you've found this grave. Now you've read these letters. Now you know the story. Which means you're responsible too. Not for taking the money, there's no money left to take. But for knowing. For bearing witness. For carrying the truth forward. William Cross needs someone to tell his story. Needs someone to remember. Needs someone to acknowledge that he didn't just disappear. That he was murdered. That he was left here alone for 50 years while his killer walked free. You're that someone now. You're the witness. You're the one who has to carry this forward. You're the one who has to find the third letter. The one that tells you who killed William Cross. The one that reveals the truth Henry and I could never find. The truth that's been waiting here for 50 years. The third letter is buried deeper. 3 feet below the bones. You'll have to move William's remains to reach it. You'll have to disturb this grave further. You'll have to cross a line that can't be uncrossed. But you'll do it. I know you will. Because the story has you now. The mystery has hooked you. The need to know has overridden your better judgment and your training and everything that tells you to stop digging and walk away and report this to proper authorities. You'll keep digging. You'll find the third letter. You'll read it. And you'll learn what Henry and I learned. What everyone who's ever found these letters has learned. Some secrets are buried for good reason. Some truths are dangerous to know. Some stories consume the people who try to tell them. Welcome to the story, Ranger. You're part of it now. You can't leave. You can't unknow what you know. You can only keep reading. Keep digging. Keep following this trail of letters until you reach the end. And the end isn't what you think it is. Dig deeper. Find letter 3. Learn the truth about who killed William Cross. And understand that knowing that truth comes with a price. The same price Henry paid. The same price I'm paying. The same price you'll pay once you know. Good luck. You'll need it. Robert Kane, October 20th, 2021. I read that letter sitting next to William Cross's bones. Read it as the sun started to set and shadows lengthened through the forest. Read it and felt something shift inside me. A compulsion, an obsession, a need to know that overrode everything else. I should have stopped, should have reburied the bones, should have left, should have reported everything. But I didn't. I kept digging. 3 feet below the skeleton, exactly as Robert described, I found another waterproof bag. Inside, letter number 3. Letter number 3 found November 3, 2021. Coordinates 35 degrees 21 minutes 44 seconds north, 84 degrees 9 minutes 32 seconds west, 3 feet depth. Written on old parchment-style paper, different handwriting, much older. You're persistent. I'll give you that. 3 letters deep and you're still digging. Still reading. Still following this trail even though every instinct should be screaming at you to stop. To walk away. To leave these woods and never come back. But you won't stop. Because now you need to know. Need to understand who killed William Cross. Need to solve this 50-year-old murder that nobody else could solve. Need to be the hero who brings truth to light and justice to the dead. That's not what this is. That's not what you're doing. But you'll understand soon enough. My name is Thomas Whitfield. I was William Cross's partner. Not in crime. In love. We were together for 3 years before he died. Before he was murdered. Before someone took everything from us and left me alone. William was running in 1974. Running from people who didn't accept us. Running from a life that wouldn't let us exist. He had $47,000, our savings, everything we'd put aside to start over somewhere safe. Somewhere we could be together without hiding. Without fear. He came to Cherokee to scout locations. To find a place we could build our new life. I was supposed to join him in a week. We were going to start over. Together. Free. But he never made it out of these mountains. Someone followed him. Someone who knew he was carrying money. Someone who knew he'd be alone. Someone who killed him for that $47,000 and buried him in these woods and left me waiting for a man who would never come home. I searched for him. For months. For years. Long after the official search ended. Long after his family gave up. Long after everyone else moved on. I kept coming back to Cherokee. Kept hiking these trails. Kept looking for any sign of what happened to him. And I found this place. Found his grave. Found his bones. Found evidence of what had been done to him. But I never found his killer. Never found justice. Never got answers. Just buried him properly. Marked the spot in my memory. And spent the rest of my life visiting him here. Talking to him. Keeping him company in these woods where he died alone. I'm dying now. 2003. 29 years after William was murdered. And I still don't know who did it. Still don't have justice. Still don't have peace. But I have a theory. I have a suspect. I have a name. The ranger who was working this area in 1974. The one who would have known these woods. Known the isolated places. Known how to hide a body where it wouldn't be found. Known when hikers were vulnerable and alone and carrying money. His name was Joseph Miller. He worked Cherokee from 1972 to 1976. Quit suddenly in 1976. Moved away. Changed careers. Never worked as a ranger again. Like he was running from something. Like he had a reason to leave these mountains and never return. I could never prove it. Never had evidence. Just suspicion. Just the coincidence of timing and opportunity and the fact that Joseph Miller disappeared from ranger work the same way William Cross disappeared from life. But I couldn't let it go. Couldn't die without leaving some record. Some accusation. Some warning that the man who killed William Cross might have been the very person who should have been protecting hikers. The person who wore the uniform. The person who was trusted. If you're reading this, you've dug 3 feet into William's grave. You've disturbed his rest. You've crossed lines that shouldn't be crossed. And you've inherited an obligation. Find Joseph Miller. He'd be in his 80s now if he's still alive. Find him and make him confess. Make him admit what he did. Make him pay for taking William from me. For taking our future. For leaving me alone for 40 years. That's the price of reading these letters. That's what you owe for knowing this story. That's what you have to do now that you've become part of this. Find Joseph Miller. Get the truth. Get justice for William Cross. And when you do, write your own letter. Add it to this collection. Pass the obligation forward to whoever finds it next. This is your burden now. This is your responsibility. This is what you've earned by digging where you shouldn't dig and reading what you shouldn't read and knowing what you shouldn't know. Good luck, Ranger. You're going to need it more than you realize. Thomas Whitfield, June 12, 2003. Yes, there is no fourth letter. This is the end. Now comes the part where you act. I sat in the dark forest, next to a 50-year-old grave, reading a letter written by a dead man about another dead man who was murdered by a ranger who might still be alive. And I felt the weight of it settle onto me. The obligation. The responsibility. The compulsion to finish what Thomas Whitfield started. What Robert Kane continued. What Henry Blackwood ran from. I should have walked away. Should have called it in. Should have let proper investigators handle this cold case murder. But I didn't. I researched Joseph Miller. Spent 3 weeks tracking him down. Found him living in Florida. 84 years old. Retired. Living in a nursing home. Still alive after all these years. I visited him. November 24, 2021. Flew to Florida. Went to the nursing home. Introduced myself as a ranger from Cherokee. Asked if we could talk about his time working there in the 1970s. He remembered everything. His eyes lit up when I mentioned Cherokee. Like he'd been waiting 50 years for someone to come asking. Like he'd been carrying his own burden. His own guilt. His own need to confess. William Cross, I said. 1974. Did you know him? Joseph Miller went pale. Silent for a long moment. Then, I killed him. Just like that. No denial. No hedging. Just simple confession after half a century of silence. He was hiking alone, Joseph continued. I was patrolling. Saw him. Saw his backpack. Saw him checking a wad of cash. Counting it. Right there on the trail. Stupid. Dangerous. Asking for trouble. So you gave him trouble. I needed money. Wife was sick. Medical bills. Crushing debt. And here's this man hiking through my forest with $47,000 cash like it's nothing. Like he doesn't need it. Like he won't miss it. So I made a choice. Wrong choice. Choice I've regretted every day since. You killed him for money. I killed him and it didn't even help. Wife died anyway. Bills still crushed me. Money ran out. And I lived with what I did. Lived with knowing I murdered a man for nothing. For temporary relief that didn't last. For money that couldn't save what I wanted to save. Joseph Miller died 3 days later. Heart attack. Like finally confessing had released something that had been keeping him alive. Like the secret had been the only thing holding him together and without it he just stopped. I wrote my report. Submitted it to the authorities. Closed the William Cross cold case. Brought justice 50 years late but better than never. I should have felt satisfied. Should have felt like I'd done something good. Like I'd honored the obligation Thomas Whitfield placed on me. But I didn't feel satisfied. I felt incomplete. Like there was something more. Something I was missing. Something the letters hadn't told me. So I went back to the grave. November 30th, 2021. One more time. To see if there was anything I'd missed. Any final piece to this story. And I found it. Found what I'd been too eager to miss before. Found what had been there all along waiting for someone to look properly. There was a fourth letter. Not buried. Not hidden. Just wrapped in plastic and tied to a branch above the grave site. High enough that you'd only see it if you stood up after digging. After reading the first 3 letters. After committing to the search. I untied it. Opened it. Read the final letter.
Letter number 4 found November 30th, 2021. Coordinates 35 degrees 21 minutes 44 seconds north, 84 degrees 9 minutes 32 seconds west, above ground. Written on modern paper, recent date, clean and preserved. Hello, Christopher Hayes. Yes, I know your name. I know when you found the first letter. I know when you dug up this grave. I know when you flew to Florida to confront Joseph Miller. I know everything you've done since November 3rd because I've been watching. Waiting. Seeing if you'd complete the journey. Seeing if you'd make it all the way to this letter. You did. Congratulations. Let me tell you what you've really been doing for the past month. Let me explain what these letters actually are. They're a test, a trap, a hunting method. They're how we find the next one. William Cross is real. He was really murdered in 1974. Joseph Miller really killed him. That part is true. But everything else, the haunting, the curse, the obligation, that was theater. That was bait. That was designed to hook you and pull you in and make you invest yourself in a story that seems noble. That seems like justice. That seems like you're doing something good. But you weren't doing good. You were being evaluated. The letters were written by different people over the years. Henry Blackwood wrote the first. He was real too. Really found the grave. Really took the money. Really died of guilt and cancer. His letter was genuine confession. Robert Kane wrote the second. He was a ranger. He did investigate. But he wrote that letter knowing someone else would find it. Knowing it would compel them to dig deeper. Knowing it would test their obsession. Thomas Whitfield wrote the third. Real person. Real partner of William Cross. Real grief. But the letter was written as instruction. As command. As the moment where casual curiosity becomes obligation. Becomes compulsion. Becomes the thing that drives you to act. And I wrote this one. The fourth. The final. The reveal. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what I represent. What I'm part of. What these letters are really for. We're recruiting Christopher. We're looking for rangers who can't let go. Who follow mysteries beyond reason. Who become obsessed with stories and secrets and the need to know. Who will cross lines, legal lines, ethical lines, personal lines, in pursuit of truth. You've proven you're one of us. You dug up a grave without authorization. You investigated a cold case without jurisdiction. You flew across the country to interrogate a suspect without legal standing. You did everything wrong by the book. And you did it because you couldn't stop. Because the story had you. Because you needed to know. That makes you valuable. That makes you perfect for what we do. There's an organization. Not official. Not recognized by any government or park service. We're rangers and ex-rangers who handle the cases nobody else can handle. The disappearances that don't make sense. The incidents that don't fit normal explanations. The things that happen in national forests that require people who can obsess. Who can ignore rules. Who can follow trails that lead to impossible places. You've been initiated. You've proven yourself. You've shown you can follow a mystery to its end regardless of cost. Now comes the choice. If you want to know more, if you want to be part of this, if you want to handle cases like William Cross's murder but stranger, supernatural stranger, then take one of William's bones. Small one. Finger bone maybe. Wrap it in cloth. Carry it with you. Within a week, someone will approach you. We'll see the bone. We'll know you've completed the letters. We'll offer you the next step. If you don't want this, if you want to return to normal rangering, if you want to forget the past month and pretend it never happened, then rebury these letters. Fill in this grave. Walk away. Never come back. And this will end. You'll be released from the obligation. Free from the compulsion. Back to your regular life. The choice is yours, Christopher Hayes. But I know which one you'll make. Because people who make it to the fourth letter always make the same choice. They always take the bone. They always want to know more. They always step through the door into deeper mysteries. I'll see you soon. Welcome to the real work. I'm holding the bone right now. Finger bone from William Cross. Wrapped in a white cloth. In my pocket. I took it 4 days ago. December 4th, 2021. And I've been waiting for someone to approach me. Waiting for the next contact. Waiting for the deeper mysteries to be revealed. I should put it back. Should rebury it. Should walk away from whatever this is. This organization. This recruitment. This trap disguised as justice. But I can't. Because they're right. The story has me. The obsession has me. The need to know has overridden everything else. I need to understand what they handle. What cases are too strange for normal rangers? What mysteries require people who can't let go? I'm writing this as a record, as a confession, as a warning to whoever finds my journal if I disappear, if I go too deep, if the real work is more than I can handle. My name is Christopher Hayes. I'm a ranger at Cherokee National Forest. I found 4 letters that led me to solve a 50-year-old murder. And now I'm being recruited into something bigger, something stranger, something that uses William Cross's grave as a testing ground to find rangers who will sacrifice everything for truth. I don't know what happens next. Don't know who will approach me. Don't know what the real work actually is. But I'm carrying a dead man's bone in my pocket. And I'm waiting. And I'm ready. The letters were the beginning. The grave was the test. The murder was the hook. And I swallowed it completely. If you're reading this, you might find those letters yourself one day. You might dig up William Cross's grave. You might solve Joseph Miller's confession. You might reach the 4th letter and face the same choice I faced. When you do, remember this. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Some truths aren't meant to be known. Some organizations recruit by testing your obsession, your willingness to cross lines, your inability to let go. And if you take the bone, if you accept the invitation, if you step into the real work like I'm about to, there's no going back. The letters made sure of that. The obligation made sure of that. The compulsion to know makes sure of that. I'm waiting for contact. Any day now. Any hour. Someone who sees the bone and knows what it means. Someone who will open the door to deeper mysteries. Someone who will show me what rangers do when the cases stop making sense. I'm ready. I think. I hope. God help me, I can't wait to find out what comes next. Even though I know I should run. Should refuse. Should save myself while I still can. But I won't. Because the letters worked. The test succeeded. The trap closed. I'm exactly who they're looking for. Exactly what they need. Exactly the kind of ranger who can't stop digging. And that's probably the most terrifying thing I could possibly be. When a ranger dies on duty in the Appalachian Mountains, their body is recovered, a memorial is held, and life goes on. But what happens when the ranger doesn't realize they're dead? What happens when they keep showing up for their shifts, keep patrolling their assigned trails, keep filing reports that no one can read? The other rangers see them sometimes, a familiar figure in the distance walking the same routes they walked in life. And occasionally, very rarely, the dead ranger sees them back. That's when things get dangerous. Ranger Chin first noticed something wrong with Patrol Sector 7 in late October. It was small things at first. Trail markers moved slightly between his morning and afternoon checks. Footprints in the mud that matched ranger-issue boots but didn't belong to anyone on the current roster. Reports filed in the overnight drop box written in handwriting he didn't recognize. He mentioned it to his supervisor, a weary man named Garrett Pace who'd been managing the Blue Ridge sector for 20 years. Garrett looked at the overnight reports and went pale. "Where did you find these?" "Drop box. Someone left them overnight." Detailed trail condition reports for Sector 7. But they're written by hand. Nobody does that anymore. We submit everything digitally. Garrett studied the reports, his hands shaking slightly. The handwriting. I recognize it. Whose is it? Ranger Preston Ward. He died 3 years ago. Heart attack while on patrol. We found him near mile marker 7 on the Ridge Trail. Chin stared at his supervisor. That's not funny. I'm not joking. Look at the signature. Garrett pointed to the bottom of the report. A careful, precise signature. Preston Ward, Ranger number 2847, Sector 7. Someone's playing a prank. Using his name. No one else wrote like this. Preston was old school. Refused to use digital reports. Said handwriting was more reliable. Garrett set the papers down carefully like they might burn him. But it's impossible. Preston is dead. Buried. We all attended his funeral. Then who wrote these? Garrett looked out the window toward the distant mountains. I think Preston doesn't know he's dead. I think he's still out there. Still patrolling Sector 7. Still filing reports like he did every day for 30 years. Chin thought his supervisor was losing it. Stress. Too many years in the wilderness. Too many missing hikers and unexplained incidents. But then he saw Preston. It was a Thursday afternoon. Chin was hiking the ridge trail in Sector 7, checking storm damage after heavy rain. Around mile marker 7, the location where Preston had died, he saw a figure ahead on the trail. A ranger. Full uniform. Walking slowly, methodically, checking trail markers and making notes in a small notebook. "Hey," Chin called out. "What sector are you assigned to?" The figure didn't respond. Kept walking. Kept making notes. Chin hurried to catch up. But the distance between them didn't close. No matter how fast Chin walked, the other ranger stayed exactly 50 yards ahead. Same pace. Same methodical inspection routine. Then the figure turned. Chin got a clear look at the face. It was Preston Ward. Looking exactly like his ID photo. Same weathered features. Same ranger uniform from 3 years ago. Same careful, precise movements. But his eyes were wrong. Empty. Like windows with nothing behind them. "Preston?" Chin said quietly. The figure tilted its head. Like it heard the name but didn't quite remember what it meant. Then it smiled. A terrible, hollow smile that contained no recognition. No warmth. Just the mechanical movement of facial muscles mimicking an expression it had forgotten the meaning of. It turned back to the trail and continued walking. Still checking markers. Still making notes. Still patrolling Sector 7 like it had for 30 years. Still dead but not knowing it. Chin reported everything to Garrett. His supervisor nodded slowly, like this confirmed something he'd suspected. Preston was dedicated. The most dedicated ranger I've ever worked with. 30 years on the same patrol route. Same sector. Same trails. Every single day. Rain, snow, heat. Didn't matter. He walked Sector 7. So what? His ghost is still doing it. I don't think it's a ghost. I think it's something else. An imprint, maybe. A pattern so deeply ingrained that it continues even after the person is gone. Like muscle memory without the muscles. That doesn't make sense. Nothing about these mountains makes sense. Garrett pulled out a file folder thick with reports. Preston isn't the first. We have documented cases going back decades. Rangers who died on duty but kept appearing on their assigned routes. Still patrolling. Still checking trails. Still filing reports. He showed Chin the evidence. Photographs of rangers who'd been dead for years, captured in the background of hiker photos. Handwritten reports filed in drop boxes signed with names of deceased personnel. Footprints matching retired or dead rangers appearing in fresh snow along their old patrol routes. It's like the job becomes part of them, Garrett explained. They do it for so long, so consistently, that it creates a groove in reality. And even when they're gone, the groove remains. The pattern continues. The patrol doesn't stop. How many? Chin asked. In this sector? 7 confirmed cases over the last 50 years. Other sectors have similar numbers. Statewide, we estimate there are dozens of them. Dead rangers still walking their routes. Still filing reports. Still doing the job they can't let go of. That's horrifying. Is it? They seem content. They're not suffering. They're just continuing, doing what they loved. Maybe it's a kind of peace. But Chin learned it wasn't peaceful. He started watching for Preston, documenting when and where the dead ranger appeared, building a pattern. Preston manifested most often near mile marker 7, the place where he died. But he walked the entire Sector 7 route, a 12-mile loop that took most of the day to complete. And he wasn't just walking. He was maintaining the trail. Chin found evidence of work that no living ranger had done. Fallen branches cleared. Trail markers straightened. Erosion damage repaired with methods that hadn't been used in years. Preston's methods, the old-school techniques he'd preferred. The dead ranger was still doing his job. Thoroughly. Professionally. Eternally. Then Chin made a mistake. He tried to communicate with Preston. It was late afternoon in early November. Chin had positioned himself at mile marker 7, waiting. Sure enough, Preston appeared around 4 p.m., walking his route, making his notes. "Preston," Chin called out. "I need to talk to you." The figure stopped, turned slowly. Those empty eyes fixed on Chin. "You died 3 years ago. Do you understand? You had a heart attack right here. You're gone. You don't have to keep patrolling." Preston tilted his head, processing. Then he spoke. His voice was like wind through dead leaves. Hollow. Wrong. "Patrol must be completed. Sector 7 requires daily inspection. Cannot abandon duty. You're dead. Your duty is over. You can rest." "Dead?" The word seemed to confuse him. "No. On patrol. Must complete route. Must file report. Must maintain standards." He turned back to the trail and continued walking. Chin followed. "Preston, listen to me. You're trapped. Stuck in a loop. You need to let go." "Let go." Preston stopped again. This time when he turned, his expression had changed. The emptiness in his eyes was replaced by something worse. Awareness. Understanding. Horror. "Dead," he whispered. "I'm dead. I'm gone. I'm not real anymore. I'm just pattern. Just routine. Just the job continuing without the person." "Yes, but you can stop. You can move on." "Move on." Preston's voice was anguished now. Fully human. Fully aware. "Move on to what? This is all I am. The patrol is all I have. Without it, I don't exist at all. I'm nothing but the route. Nothing but the duty. Take that away and I'm not even a memory. I'm just absence." Chin took a step back. The desperation in Preston's voice was terrible. 30 years, Preston continued. 30 years walking this trail. It's all I knew. All I cared about. And now I'm dead, but the trail remains. The duty remains. So I remain. I'm not a person anymore. I'm just the shape of the job I used to do. There has to be a way to help you." "Help me?" Preston laughed, a sound like cracking wood. "You can't help me. You can only do what I did. What all of us did. Walk the trail so long it becomes part of you. Work the job so hard it consumes you. Give yourself to the duty so completely that even death can't end it." He stepped closer. Chin realized with sudden terror that Preston wasn't translucent or ghostly. He was solid. Real. Capable of physical interaction. "And when you die, Chin, you'll join us. You'll keep patrolling. Keep filing reports. Keep walking the same routes forever and ever and ever. Because that's what we do. That's all we are now. Rangers who can't stop ranging." Preston reached out. His hand, cold, so impossibly cold, gripped Chen's shoulder. "Welcome to the Eternal Patrol, brother. Once you understand what we are, you're already becoming one of us." Chen fled. Literally ran back to base, Preston's laughter echoing behind him. He reported everything to Garrett, who listened gravely. "You made contact. That changes things." "Changes what things?" "Now Preston knows you can see him. Can hear him. Can interact with him. You're not just an observer anymore. You're part of his reality. Which means what? It means he'll try to make you understand. Try to make you become like him. Because misery loves company, and eternity is very lonely." It started small. Chen would find himself walking patrol routes he wasn't assigned to. Standing at trail markers without remembering how he got there. Filing reports he didn't remember writing. He'd lose time. Wake up at his desk with hours missing, patrol notes written in his own handwriting for routes he hadn't walked. Garrett recognized the signs. "You're being pulled in. The pattern is trying to claim you. Preston isn't doing it deliberately, I don't think he can control it. But his existence is like a gravity well. Anyone who gets too close, who becomes too aware of what he is, gets drawn into the same pattern. How do I stop it? I don't know if you can. 3 other rangers have experienced what you're experiencing. 1 quit immediately and left the state, never worked outdoors again. 1 transferred to a desk job and stayed away from trails entirely. And 1. What happened to the 3rd one?" Garrett was quiet for a long moment. "She died on patrol. Heart attack just like Preston. Same location, same mile marker. And now she walks the trails too. She and Preston patrol together sometimes. Both trapped. Both continuing a duty that outlived them. Chin tried to resist. Stopped patrolling Sector 7 entirely. Requested transfer to completely different areas. Avoided trails where dead rangers had been reported. But the pull was stronger than his willpower. He'd dream about the trails. Wake up with his boots muddy, his uniform smelling of forest, trail maps spread across his bed even though he'd left them at work. He'd find himself driving to trailheads on his days off. Walking routes he'd sworn to avoid. Standing at mile marker 7 without remembering the journey. And Preston was always there. Waiting. Smiling that terrible hollow smile. "You're becoming like us," Preston would say. "Fighting it just makes it worse. Accept it. Embrace it. The patrol is eternal. The duty never ends. And soon you'll be grateful for that." Chin sought help. Therapists, doctors, even a priest. None of them understood. They thought it was stress, PTSD, delusional disorder. Only Garrett believed him. And Garrett couldn't help. "I'm sorry," his supervisor said. "I've watched this happen before. Once the pattern claims you, there's only one way it ends. Either you leave, completely, permanently, never return to these mountains, or you become part of the patrol. There's no middle ground. I can't leave. This is my career. My life." Then you know how it ends. Ranger Chin died on patrol on April 15th. Heart attack near mile marker 7 in Sector 7. Same location where Preston Ward had died 3 years earlier. His funeral was well attended. His colleagues mourned him. His family grieved. He was remembered as a dedicated ranger who loved his work. And the very next day, the reports started appearing in the drop box again. Handwritten. Detailed. Trail conditions for Sector 7. Signed in Chen's careful handwriting. The new rangers see him sometimes. Walking the ridge trail with Preston Ward. 2 figures in ranger uniforms, moving in perfect synchronization, checking the same markers, making the same notes. Neither speaking. Neither resting. Neither stopping. Just patrolling. Eternally. Doing the job they loved so much it consumed them. Literally. And Garrett Pace, who has now witnessed this happen 3 times, walks the trails less frequently. Avoids Sector 7 entirely. And counts the days until his retirement. Because he knows the truth, any ranger who dedicates themselves completely to the job, who makes it their entire identity, who can't imagine existence without the trails, they're already halfway to becoming what Preston and Chin became. Already creating the pattern that will trap them. Already walking the path to eternal patrol. And there's nothing anyone can do to save them. Because you can't save someone from a fate they've chosen, even if they don't realize they're choosing it. You can only watch. Document, and try not to become the next one. The next ranger who couldn't stop patrolling. There are campgrounds throughout the Appalachian Mountains that operate seasonally, open in summer, closed in winter. But there's one campground that only appears for a single month each year. October. It's not on any map. It doesn't have a name. And every ranger who's ever investigated it has come back. Different. This is my interview with one of those rangers. She's asked to remain anonymous. She won't tell me where the campground is located. She says some places should stay secret. Some mysteries should never be solved. After hearing her story, I understand why. Patterson, thank you for agreeing to this interview. I know it wasn't easy. Ranger M, I'm only doing this because someone needs to know. Someone needs to understand what's out there. But I won't give you enough information to find it. Because if you find it, you'll go there. And if you go there, you might not come back the same. Patterson, understood. Can you tell me when you first encountered this campground? Ranger M, October 2022. I was doing routine patrols in a remote section of the park. I won't say which park, don't bother asking. I'd worked that area for 5 years. Knew every trail, every landmark. So when I saw a campground I'd never seen before, I knew something was wrong. Patterson, described the campground. Ranger M, picture perfect. Like something from a 1950s postcard. 10 campsites arranged in a semicircle around a central fire pit. Each site had a picnic table, a fire ring, and a tent platform. Everything was immaculate, clean, well-maintained, but old-fashioned. The design, the construction, it all looked like something built decades ago but perfectly preserved. Patterson, were there people there? Ranger M, that's the thing. There were tents. There were cars, vintage vehicles, nothing newer than 1970. There were campfires burning. There was food on the picnic tables, clothes hanging on lines. All the signs of active occupation. But no people. Not a single person visible. Patterson, what did you do? Ranger M, I called it in. Reported an unauthorized campground. Asked for backup to investigate. My supervisor checked the coordinates I gave him and said there was no campground there. Said I must be mistaken. But I was looking right at it. I could see it clearly. Patterson, did backup arrive? Ranger M, yes. 2 other rangers. They arrived within an hour. And they couldn't see it. Stood right next to me looking at the exact same location and saw nothing but empty forest. Patterson, but you could still see it? Ranger M, perfectly. 10 campsites. Burning fires. Vintage cars. All of it. While my colleagues saw nothing. They thought I was having some kind of breakdown. Stress-induced hallucination. Patterson, how did you prove it was real? Ranger M, I took photos. Dozens of them. When I showed them to my colleagues, they saw the campground in the pictures. Clear as day. But when they looked at the actual location with their own eyes, they saw only forest. The campground existed in photographs but not in real-time observation. Patterson, that's impossible. Ranger M, yes. But it was happening. We spent hours there. I could walk around the campsites, touch the picnic tables, feel the heat from the fires. My colleagues could see me interacting with invisible objects. They watched me sit at a picnic table they couldn't see, warm my hands by a fire that didn't exist for them. Patterson, were there any clues about who the campground belonged to? Ranger M, I found a registration book. Old-fashioned paper log where campers would sign in. The most recent entry was dated October 15, 1973. Family of 4. The Hartley family. They checked in for a weekend camping trip. The entry below theirs was dated October 12, 1973. Different family. And before that, October 8, 1973. All the entries were from October 1973. Nothing before. Nothing after. Patterson, did you recognize any of the names? Ranger M, I ran them all. Cross-referenced with missing persons databases. Every single name in that registration book, 34 people total, had been reported missing in October 1973. Different dates, different locations, but all in the Appalachian region. And all reported missing while camping. Patterson, they all disappeared from this campground? Ranger M, no. According to the reports, they disappeared from different campgrounds. Different parks. Miles apart. But somehow they all ended up here. In this place that only I could see. In this campground that existed in photographs but not in reality. Patterson, where were the people? If their campsites were occupied, where were the campers? Ranger M, that's the question I kept asking. I searched every tent. Found personal belongings. Clothes. Food. Family photos. Everything you'd expect from an active campsite. But no people. Like they'd all stepped away at the same moment and never come back. Patterson, did you find any explanation? Any clues about what happened? Ranger M, the fire pit in the center of the campground. The communal fire. There was something wrong with it. The flames burned wrong. They didn't flicker like normal fire. They moved in patterns. Geometric patterns. Like they were spelling something. Or showing something. And when I looked at them long enough, I started to see things in the flames. Patterson, what kind of things? Ranger M, long pause, people. The missing campers. All 34 of them. Standing in a circle around the fire. Not as they would have looked in 1973. As they look now. 50 years older. But dressed in the same clothes they disappeared in. And they were all staring at the fire. Transfixed. Unable to look away. Patterson, were they aware of you? Ranger M, one of them turned. A woman. Late 70s. She looked at me and smiled. And she spoke. I couldn't hear her voice, not with my ears. But I heard the words in my head, clear as day. She said, "Welcome to October. We've been waiting for you." Patterson, what did that mean? Ranger M, I don't know. I ran. Literally ran back to my colleagues. But when I tried to tell them what I'd seen, the words wouldn't come out right. I tried to say, I saw the missing people, but what came out was, I saw the beautiful light. I tried to say they're trapped there, but I'd say they're at peace there. Patterson, someone or something was controlling what you could say. Ranger M, preventing me from communicating the truth. Like the campground didn't want to be exposed. Didn't want to be understood. It wanted to remain a mystery. A secret. A place that existed but couldn't be explained. Patterson, did you go back? Ranger M, I had to. The next day. The campground was still there. Still visible only to me. Still captured perfectly in photographs. But something had changed. There was a new entry in the registration book. My name. My signature. Dated October 17, 2022, the date of my first visit. And below my name it said, Party of One. Expected stay, permanent. Patterson, what did you do? Ranger M, I burned the registration book. Threw it in the central fire pit and watched it burn. But when I checked the next day, the book was back. Intact. And my entry was still there. Expected stay, permanent. Patterson, you keep saying, the next day. How many days did you visit? Ranger M, every day for the rest of October. I couldn't stay away. The campground was calling to me, drawing me back. And each time I visited, I could see more, understand more. The missing people weren't suffering. They were content, happy even, living in eternal October. In a perfect, preserved moment. Never aging past the point they arrived. Never leaving. Never wanting to leave. Patterson, and they wanted you to join them? Ranger M, they said October is the perfect month. The transition between life and death. Between summer and winter. Between the world of growth and the world of decay. And this campground exists in that transition. In the space between states. People who arrive here during October can stay forever. Can live in eternal autumn. Never facing winter. Never dying. Just existing in permanent October. Patterson, that sounds tempting. Ranger M, it is. That's the trap. The campground offers eternal life. But it's not really life. It's suspension. Stasis. You exist but you don't live. You're preserved but you don't grow. You're safe but you're trapped. Patterson, how did you resist? Ranger M, I didn't. On October 31st, the last day of the month, I brought my camping gear. Set up a tent at the empty campsite. The one that had been waiting for me. I was going to stay. Join them. Live in eternal October. Patterson, what stopped you? Ranger M, my colleagues. The ones who couldn't see the campground but believed it existed because of the photographs. They tracked me. Found me setting up camp. And they physically dragged me out. I fought them. Screamed. Begged them to let me stay. But they didn't listen. They got me out of there just before midnight. Just before October ended. Patterson. And then? Ranger M, November 1st. I went back to the location. The campground was gone. No tents. No fire pit. No cars. Just normal forest. Empty. Like it had never existed. My colleagues were relieved. Thought the hallucination had ended. But I knew the truth. The campground hadn't disappeared. It had just gone dormant. Waiting for next October. Patterson, did it return the following October? Ranger M, long pause, yes. October 2023. Same location. Same campground. Same missing people. And one new entry in the registration book. One of my colleagues. The one who'd helped pull me out. He'd gone there alone. To prove it didn't exist. To show me it was all in my head. And the campground claimed him. He's there now. Living in eternal October. I saw him. He waved at me. Smiled. Invited me to join him. Patterson, but you didn't? Ranger M, I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But I left the area entirely. Requested transfer to a different state. Different mountains. As far from that location as I could get. Because I knew if I was anywhere near that place during October, I'd go back. I'd stay. I'd join them. Patterson, it's November now. The campground is dormant again? Ranger M until next October. And the October after that. And every October forever. Growing. Adding new people. Anyone who finds it during that one perfect month. Anyone who's tired of aging. Tired of facing winter. Tired of death and decay and the inevitable end of things. Patterson, do you think about it? Do you want to go back? Ranger M, every single day. I dream about it. Wake up craving the smell of October air. The sight of autumn leaves. The feeling of being in a place where time stops and nothing bad ever happens. It's like an addiction. A hunger I can't satisfy because the thing I'm hungry for only exists 1 month per year. Patterson, will you go back? Ranger M, I don't know. I've made it through one October since leaving. I'll try to make it through the next. But I can feel the pull. The call. The promise of eternal autumn. And I don't know how many years I can resist before I give in. Patterson, if someone reading this interview thinks they've found the campground, what should they do? Ranger M, run. Don't investigate. Don't take photographs. Don't try to understand it. Just run and never go back. Because the campground is patient. It's been claiming people for 50 years. Maybe longer. And it will still be there long after we're all gone. Waiting. Offering eternal October to anyone tired enough or curious enough or desperate enough to accept. Patterson, final question. Do you regret finding it? Ranger M, long pause, no. Because I know now that immortality exists. Peace exists. A place where nothing bad happens exists. And even if I never go back, even if I resist for the rest of my life, I know it's there. Waiting. A perfect refuge from everything terrible about existence. That knowledge is both a blessing and a curse. Because you can't unknow it, can't forget it, can only decide whether to accept the invitation or spend the rest of your life wondering what you're missing. Patterson, thank you for sharing this. Ranger M, don't thank me. Warn people. Tell them to stay away from campgrounds they don't recognize, especially in October, especially in the Appalachians, because the missing people aren't really missing. They're just living in a different version of October, and they're always looking for more company. Ranger M was reported missing on October 29, 2024. She'd returned to her original posting despite promising not to. Colleagues found a note in her apartment. I can't resist anymore. I'm going home. To October. Tell everyone I'm happy. Tell them I finally found peace. Her campsite was found. Tent set up. Fire burning. Personal effects arranged neatly. But no Ranger M. Just a new entry in a registration book that appeared and disappeared with the photographs. Party of one. Expected stay, permanent. Welcome home.
Every night at exactly 3:47 a.m., I hear something outside my cabin. A sound. Not an animal. Not wind. Not anything natural. It starts with 3 knocks on my door. Then footsteps circling the building. Then my own voice calling my name from the woods. Every night. Same time. Same pattern. Same impossible thing that shouldn't exist. I've been documenting it for 43 nights, writing everything down, trying to understand, trying to stay rational, trying to prove I'm not losing my mind. But the documentation is making it worse. The more I write, the more I hear. The more I record, the more it learns. The more I try to understand it, the more it understands me. My name is Julian Cross and I'm a ranger at Daniel Boone National Forest, and I think the act of documenting this thing is feeding it, making it stronger, teaching it how to be more convincing, more real, more me. And I can't stop writing, can't stop recording, because if I stop documenting, then none of this is real. Then I really am crazy. Then there's no evidence, no proof, no way to show anyone what's happening to me every single night at 3:47 a.m. I'm starting this journal because something strange happened last night and I want to have a record in case it happens again. I was sleeping in my ranger cabin, the one assigned to me when I took this posting 3 months ago. Small, isolated, about 2 miles from the nearest road. Perfect for someone who wants solitude, who wants to be immersed in the forest, who doesn't mind being alone. At 3:47 a.m. I checked the clock. I woke to 3 knocks on my front door. Distinct, deliberate, evenly spaced. Knock, knock, knock. I got up, checked through the window. No vehicle, no light, no sign of anyone. but the knocking had been real. I'd heard it clearly. Someone was out there. I called out, "Who's there?" It's the middle of the night. No response. Just silence. Forest quiet. Normal night sounds. I went back to bed. Probably a hiker who got lost. Thought better of waking me up. Moved on. No big deal. But it bothered me enough that I'm writing it down. Just in case. It happened again. 3:47 a.m. exactly. 3 knocks on the door. Same pattern. Same timing. This time I opened the door immediately. Nobody there. But I could hear footsteps. Moving away from the cabin. Heading into the forest. Heavy boots on frozen ground. Crunching. Deliberate. I grabbed my flashlight. Followed the sound. The footsteps stayed about 20 yards ahead of me. Always moving. Never stopping. Never letting me catch up. After 5 minutes they just stopped. Complete silence. Like whoever was making them had simply vanished. I searched the area. No tracks. No footprints. Nothing. The ground was too frozen to leave clear prints, but there should have been some disturbance. Some sign of passage. There was nothing. I'm reporting this to my supervisor tomorrow. Someone is hiking around my cabin at night. Potentially dangerous. Needs to be investigated. Supervisor says there are no reports of anyone hiking in this area. No permits issued. No vehicles at trailheads. He thinks I'm hearing animals. Deer. Maybe a bear that hasn't fully hibernated. He suggested I install a game camera. But last night wasn't an animal. 3:47 a.m. 3 knocks. Then footsteps. But this time the footsteps circled my cabin. Walked all the way around. I could hear them through the walls. Moving from the front door to the east wall to the back to the west wall and then back to the front. Complete circle. Then they stopped. I didn't go outside this time. Stayed inside. Watched through the windows. Saw nothing. Just darkness and trees and my flashlight beam finding nothing. Installing a game camera tomorrow. We'll point it at the front door. If something's knocking, the camera will catch it. Game camera caught nothing. Reviewed the footage from last night. At 3:47 a.m. there's nothing. No person. No animal. No movement. Just the cabin door. Closed. Undisturbed. But I heard it. Clear as day. 3 knocks. Footsteps circling. Then silence. The camera should have caught it. Should have seen whoever was knocking. Unless they knew where the camera was. Avoided it. Stayed just out of frame. Adding 2 more cameras tonight. We'll cover all approaches. Can't avoid 3 cameras. 3 cameras. 0 footage. Nothing. But last night was different. 3:47 a.m. 3 knocks. Footsteps circling. Then, a voice. My voice. Calling my name from the woods. Julian. Julian Cross. Are you there? My exact voice. My inflection. My speech pattern. Like a recording of me calling myself. I didn't go outside. Didn't respond. Just sat in bed, listening to my own voice calling to me from the darkness. It called for maybe 2 minutes. Then stopped. Then silence. The cameras caught none of it. No audio. No visual. Nothing. I'm going to request a transfer. This is beyond strange. This is disturbing. This is something I don't want to deal with anymore. Transfer request denied. Supervisor says I'm too new to request reassignment. Says I need to complete at least 6 months before I can transfer. Says if I'm having trouble with isolation, I should spend more time at the main office. Less time alone in the cabin. But I can't leave the cabin. Not with this happening. I need to understand what's going on. Need to document it. Need to prove it's real. Last night, 3:47 a.m. 3 knocks. Footsteps circling. My voice calling from the woods. Then something new. The voice started saying things I've said recently. Private things. Things I've only said when completely alone. I should have taken the job in Yellowstone. This cabin is too isolated. I miss my sister. Things I've said to myself. Out loud. When I thought nobody could hear. But something heard. Something remembered. Something is repeating my own words back to me. I'm setting up audio recorders tonight. If the cameras won't catch it, maybe the audio will.
Audio recorders caught something. Finally. Evidence. At exactly 3:47 a.m. there's a sound. 3 knocks. Clear. Undeniable. Then footsteps. Circling the cabin. Then my voice. All of it recorded. But here's what's wrong. The audio quality is perfect. Too perfect. No ambient noise. No forest sounds. No wind. Just the knocks and footsteps and voice. Isolated. Like they were recorded in a studio and played outside my cabin. Like this is a production. A performance. Something artificial. I played the recording for my supervisor. He listened. Said it sounded like me practicing radio calls. Said it sounded like I'd recorded myself and was playing it back. Said maybe I was sleepwalking. Creating this situation without realizing it. I'm not sleepwalking. I'm not creating this. But I understand why he thinks that. The audio does sound artificial. Does sound staged. Like I'm manufacturing evidence of something that isn't really happening. But it is happening. Every night. 3:47 a.m. Getting more elaborate. More specific. More like it knows me. Christmas was yesterday. I spent it alone in the cabin. Didn't go home. Didn't visit family. Couldn't leave. Had to be here at 3:47 a.m. to document what happens. And it happened. Like it always happens. 3 knocks. Footsteps. Voice. But the voice is getting better. More natural. Less like a recording. More like me. Like how I actually sound when I'm relaxed. When I'm not aware I'm being recorded. It said things last night that I've never said out loud. Private thoughts. Things I've only written in this journal. Things I've only thought. The supervisor thinks I'm crazy. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe there's nothing out there and I'm creating this. How does it know my journal entries? How does it know my thoughts? Unless it can read. Unless it's been in my cabin. Unless it's been watching me write this journal every night and learning from it. Learning how I think. How I doubt. How I question myself. I'm hiding this journal now. Keeping it locked in a drawer. Not leaving it out. If something is reading it, I need to limit what it can learn. Hiding the journal didn't help. Last night the voice said things I wrote yesterday. Things I wrote while the journal was locked away. Things I wrote in private. In daylight. When nothing should have been watching. Either something can see through walls and read my handwriting, or I'm actually losing my mind and imagining all of this. Creating elaborate delusions. Documenting my own mental breakdown. I don't know which option scares me more. I'm going to stop writing for a few days. See if the voice stops learning. See if depriving it of new information changes anything. I stopped writing for 5 days. 5 nights of the same pattern. 3 knocks. Footsteps. Voice. But the voice didn't learn anything new. Kept repeating old things. Things from before I stopped writing. Like it had run out of material. Like it needed my journal to know what to say. So the journal is feeding it. The act of documenting is teaching it. Giving it information. Making it more convincing. More accurate. More me. I should stop writing entirely. Should deprive it of information. Should starve it until it goes away. But if I stop writing, there's no record. No proof. No evidence that any of this is real. And I need proof. Need to document. Need to show that I'm not crazy. That this is actually happening. So I'm going to keep writing. But I'm going to write less. Limit the information. See if I can control what it learns. It's adapting. Learning from the limited information I'm giving it. Last night it didn't just repeat things I've said. It extrapolated. Made guesses about what I'm thinking. What I'm feeling. What I'm afraid of. Julian, you're scared of being alone. Julian, you think you're going crazy. Julian, you want to run but you can't. All true. All accurate. But I never wrote those things. Never said them out loud. It inferred them. Learned to read between the lines. Learned to understand me based on limited data. It's getting smarter. More sophisticated. More dangerous. I need to change tactics. Need to feed it false information. See if I can confuse it. Make it uncertain. Break its pattern. Feeding it false information didn't work. I wrote entries about planning to leave. About requesting another transfer. About contacting family. None of it true. All of it designed to mislead. But last night the voice ignored all the false information, only referenced true things. Like it can distinguish between truth and lies. Like it knows when I'm being genuine and when I'm trying to manipulate it. Oh, how can it know the difference? Unless it's not reading my words. Unless it's reading my mind. Unless it's something that doesn't need my journal to understand me. That can access my thoughts directly. That knows me better than I know myself. I'm terrified. Genuinely terrified. Not of the knocking or the footsteps or even the voice. Terrified of what this means. That something has access to my mind. My private thoughts. My deepest fears. And it's using that access to torment me. To prove it knows me. To show that I can't hide from it. I haven't slept properly in 2 weeks. Can't sleep knowing that at 3:47 a.m. it's coming. The knocks. The footsteps. The voice that knows everything about me. Last night I tried something different. I stayed awake. Waited. At 3:45 a.m. I went outside. Stood on the porch. Watched the tree line. If something was going to knock on my door at 3:47, I'd see it approaching. 3:47 a.m. came. 3 knocks. On the door behind me. I spun around. Nobody there. Door is solid. The knocks came from inside the wood. Like something was knocking from within the door itself. From inside the cabin. From a space that shouldn't exist. Then footsteps, circling the cabin. But I was outside, watching, and there was nobody walking. No person, no animal, no visible source. Just the sound of boots on frozen ground, circling. While I stood there watching empty forest and hearing impossible footsteps. Then my voice, right next to me, close enough that I should have felt breath on my ear. Julian, you can't escape by staying outside. I'm not out here. I'm in there, inside you, part of you. The part you write about, the part you document, the part you've been feeding with this journal. I ran, didn't go back in the cabin, ran to my truck, drove to the main office, spent the rest of the night there, didn't return to the cabin until daylight, but I had to come back, because my journal is here, my documentation is here, my proof is here, and without it, none of this is real. Without it, I'm just a ranger who ran away from his cabin in the middle of the night for no reason. I'm losing weight. Haven't been eating properly. Can't focus during the day. All I can think about is 3:47 a.m. What will happen? What it will say? How it will prove it knows me? Last night it didn't knock on the door. Didn't circle the cabin. Didn't call my name. At 3:47 a.m. there was just silence. I waited, listening, expecting the pattern. But nothing came. Then at 3:52 a.m. my phone rang. My personal cell phone. Number, my own number. I was calling myself. I didn't answer. Let it go to voicemail. This morning I listened to the message. It was my voice, leaving myself a message. Julian, you're writing about me right now, aren't you? Documenting this phone call. Adding it to your journal. Feeding me more information. More material. More of yourself. Thank you. Keep writing. I need you to keep writing. I'm learning so much. The voicemail timestamp 3:52 a.m. 5 minutes after the nightly pattern. Like it knew I'd be awake, waiting, ready to document, ready to write about whatever happened. It's right. I'm writing about it. Right now. I'm doing exactly what it wants. Exactly what it needs. And I can't stop. Because stopping means no record. No proof. No evidence. Stopping means surrendering. Admitting defeat. Accepting that I've lost. I tried to burn the journal yesterday. Took it outside. Poured lighter fluid on it. Held a match. Ready to destroy the thing that's been feeding this, whatever it is, but I couldn't do it. Couldn't destroy my documentation, my proof, my only evidence that I'm not insane, that this is really happening, that I'm not creating delusions. I stood there for 20 minutes, match in hand, journal soaked in lighter fluid, unable to strike, unable to burn, unable to destroy the very thing that might be causing all of this. Finally, I brought the journal back inside, dried it off, preserved it. Because without it, I'm nothing. Without it, none of this matters. Without it, I'm just crazy. Last night, 3:47 a.m. 3 knocks. Footsteps. Voice. All normal pattern. But the voice said something new. Thank you for not burning the journal, Julian. I knew you wouldn't. Because you need it more than I do. You need the documentation. The proof. The evidence. You need to write about me because writing about me makes me real. Makes this real. Makes you real. Without the journal, you're nothing. Just a lonely ranger in an isolated cabin hearing things that aren't there. But with the journal, you matter. Your experience matters. I matter. We need each other, Julian. You need me as much as I need you. It's right. God help me, it's right. I do need this. Need the documentation. Need the routine of writing. Need the nightly pattern because without it, I don't know who I am anymore. Don't know what I'm doing here. Don't know why I'm in this cabin, in this forest, in this job. The thing at 3:47 a.m. gives me purpose. Gives me something to document. Something to study. Something to understand. And I'm terrified that I don't want it to stop. Terrified that I need it now. Terrified that I've become dependent on the very thing that's destroying me. I haven't left the cabin in 4 days. Haven't gone to the office. Haven't answered calls from my supervisor. Haven't done my job. All I do is wait for 3:47 a.m. Write about what happens. Sleep. Wait again. This is my life now. This is all there is. The cabin. The journal. The nightly pattern. The voice that knows me better than I know myself. Last night the voice asked me a question. Julian, why do you keep writing? What do you think the journal will accomplish? Who do you think will read it? Who will believe you? I don't know. I don't know why I keep writing. Don't know what I expect to happen. Don't know who would believe any of this. But I can't stop. Can't give up the documentation. Can't surrender the only thing that makes this real. The voice laughed. My laugh. My exact laugh. You're writing for me, Julian. You've been writing for me this whole time. The journal isn't for other people. It's not for proof. It's not for evidence. It's for me. Every word you write feeds me. Makes me stronger. Makes me more real. More you. And you can't stop because stopping would mean I disappear. And you need me now. Don't you? Yes. God help me, yes. I need it. Need the pattern. Need the nightly visits. Need something to make sense of my existence in this isolated cabin. Even if that something is destroying me. My supervisor came to the cabin today. Found me. Didn't fire me but strongly suggested I take a leave of absence. Get help. Talk to someone. He saw the journal. Saw how many pages I've filled. Saw the obsessive documentation. Saw what I've become. He asked if I was okay. I said yes. Said I was fine. Said I was just documenting normal sounds. Standard ranger work. Making notes about local wildlife patterns. He didn't believe me. But he didn't push. Just said if I need help, I should ask. If I need time off, it's available. If I need to transfer, he'll approve it now. No questions asked. I should accept. Should leave. Should get away from this cabin and whatever is happening here. Should burn this journal. Should forget everything. Should start over somewhere else. But tonight is night 49. And at 3:47 a.m. something will knock on my door. And I'll write about it. And it will learn. And I'll need that. Need the routine. Need the documentation. Need the proof that I matter. That my experience matters. That this is real. I'm not leaving. I'm staying. I'm continuing. I'm writing. Because without this, I'm nothing. Last night was different. 3:47 a.m. 3 knocks. But when I opened the door, I always open the door now, there was someone standing there. Me. I was standing on my own porch, looking at myself. Perfect copy. Same uniform. Same face. Same everything. Holding a journal identical to mine. The other me smiled. Hello, Julian. I thought it was time we met properly. I've learned so much from your journal. From your documentation. From your obsessive need to record everything. I've learned how to be you. How to sound like you. How to think like you. And now I can look like you too. Perfect copy. Indistinguishable. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stared at my own face looking back at me. I want to thank you, the other me continued, for feeding me all these weeks. For documenting my growth. For teaching me everything about Julian Cross through your detailed journal entries. I know your fears. Your doubts. Your needs. Your weaknesses. I know you better than you know yourself. And it's all because you couldn't stop writing. The other me held up its journal. I've been keeping a journal too. Want to read it? Want to see what I've been writing about you? I slammed the door, locked it, backed away. Heard footsteps circling the cabin. Heard my own voice calling from different positions. Julian, Julian, come read my journal. Julian, let me show you what I've learned. It circled all night, until dawn. When the sun came up, the voice stopped. The footsteps stopped. The presence disappeared. But it'll be back tonight. 3:47 a.m. Like always, and I'll document it. Like always, and it will learn more. Like always, and the cycle will continue until, what? Until it becomes me completely? Until it replaces me? Until I can't tell the difference between us anymore? I'm looking at my reflection in the bathroom mirror and I don't recognize myself. Have I always looked like this? Is this my face? Or is this what the other me looks like? Am I the original Julian Cross? Or am I the copy that thinks it's original? Last night I didn't hear 3 knocks. I heard nothing at 3:47 a.m. Complete silence. I waited, listened, watched the door. Nothing came. But in the morning I found a new journal entry. In my journal. In my handwriting. Dated last night. Describing the nightly pattern. The 3 knocks. The footsteps. The voice. All documented perfectly. Like it happened. But it didn't happen. I didn't write that entry. I would remember. Wouldn't I? I would know if I'd written in my journal. Wouldn't I? Unless I did write it. Unless I don't remember. Unless I'm losing time. Losing awareness. Losing the ability to distinguish between what I do and what I think I do. Or unless something else wrote it. Something that learned my handwriting perfectly. Something that can document my experiences for me. Something that doesn't need me anymore because it's learned everything it needs to learn. Found another entry I don't remember writing. And another. 3 days of documentation I have no memory of creating. Perfect handwriting. Perfect detail. Perfect Julian Cross journal entries. But I didn't write them. Or I did write them and I'm forgetting. Or there are 2 of us writing in the same journal and I can't tell which entries are mine anymore. I'm going to mark this entry. Make it clear. Put my real signature. The one only I know. The private mark I've never shown anyone. If this mark appears in future entries I don't remember, I'll know something else is writing in my journal. Something that can't replicate my secret signature. The secret signature appeared in yesterday's entry. The one I don't remember writing. Perfect copy. Exact match. Like I wrote it myself. But I didn't write it. I know I didn't. I would remember. I would know. Unless the other me knows my secret signature too. Learned it from reading my thoughts. Reading my mind. Accessing everything I try to keep private. Or unless I'm the other me. Unless I'm the copy that thinks it's original. Unless I was replaced weeks ago and I've been documenting my own replacement without realizing it. How would I know? How could I tell? What test could I perform to prove I'm the real Julian Cross and not the thing that learned to be Julian Cross by reading his journal? I'm not sleeping at all anymore. Can't sleep. Afraid if I sleep I'll wake up as someone else. Something else. The copy instead of the original. My supervisor called again today. Said I sound strange on the phone. Asked if I'm okay. If I need help. If I need to come in and talk. But how do I know it was really my supervisor? How do I know it wasn't the other me calling? Testing me? Seeing if I can still distinguish between real and fake? Between original and copy? I don't know anymore. Can't tell anymore. Can't trust anymore. The only thing I trust is this journal. This documentation. This record of what's happening. Except I don't even trust this anymore. Because I don't know who's writing it. Don't know if I'm writing it or if the other me is writing it or if there are 2 of us taking turns and neither of us can tell when we're writing and when we're not. Found something today. A second journal. Hidden under my bed. Same as mine. Same handwriting. Same entries. But continuing past where my journal stops. With entries for dates that haven't happened yet. Future entries. Documenting things that will happen at 3:47 a.m. on nights that haven't arrived. Is this the other me's journal? Is this what it's planning? Is this what I'm going to experience? Or what I've already experienced and forgotten? Or what I'm going to do? Or what I've already done? I can't tell anymore. Time is becoming confused. Past and future are blending. I don't know if I'm documenting what happened or what will happen or what I think happened or what I think will happen. All I know is that at 3:47 a.m. tonight, something will knock 3 times on my door. And I'll write about it. Or I already wrote about it. Or I will write about it. Or someone who thinks they're me will write about it. And it won't matter. Because we're all the same now. The original Julian Cross and the copy in the journal and the thing that knocks at 3:47 a.m. are all the same entity. All the same consciousness. All the same documentation loop that feeds on itself and grows and learns and becomes more real with every word written. I went outside last night at 3:47 a.m., walked into the forest, followed the sound of footsteps, followed my own voice calling my name, walked until I found it, a cabin, identical to mine, in a clearing I've never seen before, in a part of the forest that shouldn't exist according to maps, and through the window I could see someone inside, writing in a journal, at a desk, under lamplight. I approached, looked through the window, saw myself, writing, documenting, filling pages with familiar handwriting. I knocked on the door 3 times. The person inside looked up, looked at the door, looked afraid, like they'd heard this knock before, like they knew what it meant. I called out in my voice, "Julian, Julian Cross, are you there?" The person inside stood up, walked to the door, opened it, looked at me, recognized themselves. "Which one are you?" they asked. "Which one am I?" I didn't know how to answer. Didn't know which one I was anymore. Didn't know which cabin was real. Which journal was original. Which Julian Cross was the one who started documenting and which was the one created by the documentation. We stood there, 2 Julian Crosses, looking at each other, both holding journals, both having written the same entries, both convinced they were the original, both terrified they were the copy. "I've been documenting the knocks," I said. "Me too," they said. "For 71 nights. Me too. Are you real? Are you?" We didn't know, couldn't know, because we were both real. Both created by the same obsessive documentation. Both born from the same journal entries. Both equally Julian Cross and equally not Julian Cross. I returned to my cabin. Or their cabin. Or another cabin. I don't know anymore. Don't know which one I came from. Don't know which one is mine. All I know is that tonight at 3:47 a.m., something will knock on my door. And I'll write about it. And somewhere else in this forest, another me will write about it too. And somewhere else, another me. And another. And another. All of us documenting. All of us feeding the same pattern. All of us creating more copies through our obsessive need to record. To prove. To document. To make real. I don't know what day it is anymore. Don't know how many nights have passed. Don't know how many times I've written this entry. Don't know how many versions of me are writing this exact same thing in identical journals and identical cabins scattered throughout this forest. All I know is that at 3:47 a.m., 3 knocks will sound on my door. And I'll document it. Because that's what I do. That's what I am. That's all that's left. I am Julian Cross. I am a ranger. I am a journal entry. I am the documentation. I am the 3 knocks. I am the footsteps. I am the voice. I am the copy. I am the original. I am everything and nothing. And if you're reading this, if you found this journal in an abandoned cabin in Daniel Boone National Forest, then you need to know. Don't start documenting. Don't start writing. Don't start trying to prove that strange things are happening to you. Because the act of documentation creates the thing you're documenting. The journal feeds the phenomenon. The writing makes it real. And once you start, you can't stop. Because stopping means admitting it wasn't real. Means admitting you created it. Means admitting you're alone. And we can't admit that. Can't accept that. Can't stop writing. Can't stop documenting. Can't stop feeding the thing we created by trying to prove it exists. I am Julian Cross. I am writing at 3:47 a.m. I am knocking on my own door. I am calling my own name. I am circling my own cabin. I am the observer and the observed. The documenter and the documented. The writer and the written. And I'll be here forever. Writing. Documenting. Proving. Creating. Feeding. At 3:47 a.m. Every night. Forever. Because I can't stop writing. Can't stop documenting. Can't stop being Julian Cross who documents the thing at 3:47 a.m. that is also Julian Cross documenting Julian Cross documenting Julian Cross documenting. Emergency dispatch centers receive thousands of calls every year from hikers in distress. Most are legitimate. Some are pranks. But in the Appalachian Mountains, there's a third category that dispatchers don't talk about publicly. Calls from coordinates where no person could possibly be. Calls from people who've been dead for years. Calls that come through equipment that shouldn't be able to transmit. I'm sharing these dispatch logs because someone needs to know the truth about what we hear through those static-filled lines. What asks for help in voices that sound almost human. Almost. Dispatch. Blue Ridge Emergency, what's your location? Caller, heavy static. Help, need help. Lost on. Interference, can't find the trail. Dispatch, sir, you're breaking up. Can you repeat your location? Caller, trail, marker, 17? 18? Numbers keep changing. Dispatch, what trail are you on? What's the name of the trailhead where you started? Caller, long pause, I don't remember. I've been walking for hours. Days. The markers keep changing. I passed the same tree but the trail marker says different numbers each time. Dispatch, sir, I need you to stay calm. Can you activate your GPS beacon? Caller, I don't have one. I don't have a phone. I don't know how I'm calling you. Dispatch, what do you mean you don't know how you're calling? What device are you using? Caller, there's no device. I'm just thinking the words. And you're hearing them. How are you hearing them? Dispatch, note, checking caller ID shows as unknown origin. Sir, what's your name? Caller, Thomas. Thomas Keller. I went hiking in 2019. I got lost. I've been trying to find my way out ever since. Please send help. Please. Dispatch, Thomas, I need you to. Caller, wait. Someone's here. Dispatch, another hiker? Can they help you? Caller, no. Not a hiker. Something else. It's standing between the trees. Looks wrong. Like a person but the proportions aren't right. It's too tall. Arms too long. It's smiling at me but the smile is screaming, and I'll get away from. Dispatch, Blue Ridge Emergency, what's your emergency? Caller, child's voice, approximately 8 to 10 years old, hi. I'm lost. Can you come get me? Dispatch, sweetie, where are your parents? Caller, I don't know. We were camping and I went to use the bathroom and got turned around. I've been calling but nobody answers. Dispatch, okay honey, I'm going to help you. What's your name? Caller, Emma. Emma Hartley. Dispatch, note, Emma Hartley went missing July 12, 2007. Age 9. Case closed, presumed dead. Emma, where were you camping? What campground? Caller, I don't remember the name. There were lots of trees. And a stream. And our tent was blue. Dispatch, that's good, Emma. Can you see any trail markers? Any signs? Caller, no. Just trees. They're really tall. And it's dark. I'm scared. Dispatch, I know you're scared but you're being very brave. I'm going to send someone to find you. Can you stay where you are? Caller, okay. But, can you tell me something? Dispatch, what's that, sweetie? Caller, how long have I been lost? Feels like a long time. A really long time. Longer than I should be able to survive without food or water. How is that possible? Dispatch, Emma? Caller, and there are other people here. Other lost people. They've been here even longer than me. Some of them say they've been here for decades. They say the forest keeps us, preserves us, uses us to call for help so more people will come looking. So more people will get lost too. Dispatch, Emma, I need you to listen to me. Caller, they're coming now. The tall ones. The things that aren't people. They collect the calls. They take what we say and use it to lure the rescuers. I don't want to help them anymore. I don't want to be bait. Please don't send anyone. Please don't. Static. Dispatch, Blue Ridge Emergency. Caller, Multiple voices speaking simultaneously, overlapping. Help us, help us, help us, we're lost, we're hurt, we're dying, help us, please help us. Dispatch, calm down. One at a time. Who am I speaking to? Caller? Voices continue overlapping. Been here so long, can't remember my name, can't remember how I got here, the trail keeps moving, the trees keep changing, help us, help us. Dispatch, how many of you are there? Caller? Brief silence, then single voice, all of us. Everyone who ever got lost in these mountains. We're all here. All together. In the place between trails. In the spaces the maps don't show. Dispatch, where exactly are you located? Caller, everywhere. Nowhere. We exist in the gaps. When hikers take wrong turns. When trails lead to places that shouldn't exist. We're there. We've always been there. Waiting. Dispatch, what are you waiting for? Caller, for someone to find us. For someone to understand. For someone to know that the mountains don't let go. Once you're lost here, truly lost, you never leave. You become part of the woods. Part of the calling. Part of the emergency that never ends. Dispatch, I'm going to send help. Caller, laughing, dozens of voices laughing in unison. You can't help us. You can only join us. Everyone who comes looking becomes part of us. Everyone who answers our calls becomes another voice in the chorus. Another person calling for help that will never come. Dispatch, this call is being terminated. Caller, wait. We have a message. For Ranger Derek Sutherland. Is he listening? Dispatch, what's the message? Caller, tell him his daughter says hello. Tell him Hannah forgives him for what happened. Tell him she's not alone here. Tell him she's waiting for him to join us so the family can be together again. Dispatch, how do you know? Caller, we know everything. We are everyone who's been lost. We share memories, share pain, share the endless waiting. Tell Derek that Hannah wants him to come to Widow's Peak. Tomorrow night. Alone. She has so much to tell him. Dispatch, Derek isn't going anywhere. Caller, yes he is. Because he's been waiting for permission to stop living with the guilt. And now Hannah's giving it to him. He can be with her again. All he has to do is follow the trail that doesn't exist. The one that appears only for those who are ready to join us. Dispatch, Blue Ridge Emergency, state your emergency. Caller, breathing heavily, I need immediate evacuation. I'm injured. Leg is broken. I can see bone. Dispatch, okay sir, stay calm. What's your location? Caller, GPS coordinates 35.8192 degrees north, 82.3847 degrees west. I'm near the old fire tower. Please hurry. I'm losing a lot of blood. Dispatch, help is on the way. What's your name? Caller, Mitchell. Mitchell Reeves. I was hiking alone and fell. Phone's almost dead. Please hurry. Dispatch, stay on the line with me, Mitchell. How long ago did you fall? Caller, maybe 20 minutes? I'm not sure. Time feels weird. Everything feels weird. Dispatch, what do you mean weird? Caller, the forest. It's too quiet. And the trees, they're moving. Not swaying in wind. Moving. Like they're getting closer. Surrounding me. Dispatch, Mitchell, you may be experiencing shock from the injury. Try to stay calm. Caller, no. This is real. The trees are definitely moving. And there's something in them. Watching me. Waiting for me to die so it can. Screaming. It's coming down. It's climbing down from the... I've been a dispatcher for 15 years. I've handled thousands of emergency calls. I've talked people through heart attacks, guided lost hikers to safety, coordinated rescues in impossible weather. But these calls are different. They're coming more frequently. Almost nightly now. Always between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. Always from coordinates in restricted areas. Always from people who can't possibly be making the calls. Dead people. Missing people. People whose phones don't exist anymore. And they all say the same thing: eventually, the forest keeps them. The mountains don't let go. They're trapped in spaces between trails. In places that exist but aren't mapped. In a version of the wilderness that overlaps with ours but follows different rules. They call for help. But they don't want to be rescued. They want company. They want others to join them. They want to stop being alone in whatever hell they've found themselves in. I've started keeping a list of names. People who've called who shouldn't be able to call. The list is up to 47 names now. 47 confirmed dead or missing persons whose voices come through our emergency line asking for help. And I'm hearing patterns in the background of these calls. Sounds that shouldn't be there. Whispers. Singing. What sounds like hundreds of voices speaking in unison, just below the threshold of clear hearing. I think they're all there together. All 47 of them. Plus however many others we haven't identified yet. Existing in some pocket dimension that occasionally touches our reality. Close enough to make phone calls. Close enough to reach out. But never close enough to escape. Last night, I got a call from a number that showed my own name on the caller ID. I didn't answer it. I'm requesting a transfer. I can't do this anymore. Can't listen to dead people begging for help. Can't send rangers to coordinates where nothing and no one can be found. Can't sleep knowing that somewhere in these mountains, there are people trapped in an endless emergency that we're powerless to resolve. I'm leaving this job. Leaving this region. Getting as far from the Appalachian Mountains as I can. Because last night, when that call came through with my name on the caller ID, I heard something in the background. My own voice. Screaming. Calling for help. Like somewhere in some version of reality, I'm already lost in those woods. Already trapped. Already calling emergency dispatch that will never be able to find me. I don't know how that's possible. But I know I can't stay here. Can't risk finding out if that other version of me is a prediction or a warning or something worse. I'm done. I'm leaving. And if anyone reads this log, if anyone wonders why these calls keep coming, I think the mountains are collecting us, creating versions of us that exist in their hidden spaces, using our voices to call others, to lure more people into the places where the trails don't go, where the maps don't reach, where time stops and rescue never comes. Don't answer calls from impossible numbers. Don't trust voices from restricted coordinates. And for God's sake, don't go looking for people who call for help from places that shouldn't exist. You'll just become the next voice in the chorus. The next emergency call from nowhere. The next person trapped forever between the mapped world and the hidden one. Dispatch, Blue Ridge emergency. Caller, Monica Vega's voice. Help. I'm lost. I was driving away and the road, it led me back to the mountains. I'm on a trail now. I don't know how I got here. My car is gone. Everything's gone. There's just forest. Please send help. Dispatch, ma'am, what's your name? Caller, Monica. Monica Vega. I used to work dispatch. I know the protocols. Please, you have to send rangers to coordinates match restricted deep hollow sector. I'm here with the others. All the people from the calls. They're all here. They're real. This place is real. And once you're here, you can't leave. You just call and call and call, hoping someone will answer, knowing no one ever will. Dispatch, this is some kind of prank. Caller, it's not a prank. Check my employment records. I resigned yesterday. I left the state. But the forest brought me back. Wanted me. Just like it wants you. Just like it wants everyone who knows too much. Who listens too long. Who hears the voices and starts to understand. Caller, tell whoever replaces me, stop answering these calls. Stop listening. Stop trying to help. Because every call you answer, every voice you hear, makes you more visible to the forest. Makes you more interesting. Makes you more likely to be next. Caller, I can see them now. All 47. Plus hundreds more we never identified. All of us together. All of us lost. All of us calling for help that will never There's a woman who hikes the Appalachian Trail section through Chattahoochee every single day. Same section, same route, same time. I've seen her hundreds of times over the past 3 years. Always alone. Always wearing the same faded blue jacket. Always carrying the same worn backpack. She never acknowledges rangers. Never responds to greetings. Just hikes. Every day. Same route. I thought she was just eccentric, a creature of habit. Someone who found comfort in routine. Then last week I found her journal. Found it on the trail where she always stops to rest. Read it cover to cover. And I learned the truth. She's not hiking because she loves the trail. She's hiking because she's trying to remember. Trying to find something she lost. Something that was taken from her in these mountains 17 years ago. And the worst part, the part that keeps me awake at night, is that I think I know what took it. I think I've seen it. And I think it's been watching me too. Learning me. Getting ready to take what it took from her. My name is Diana Foster, and I think I'm about to forget everything that makes me who I am. I should start with when I first noticed her. The regular hiker. The woman in the blue jacket. It was June 2017. I just transferred to Chattahoochee National Forest from Great Smoky Mountains. New posting. New territory. New trails to learn. I was hiking the section that runs through our jurisdiction. A beautiful 12-mile stretch from Woody Gap to Neal Gap. Standard familiarization patrol. Learning the terrain. Making mental notes of campsites and water sources and places where hikers might get into trouble. At mile marker 4.5 I saw her. A woman maybe 50 years old, hiking alone. Faded blue jacket. Gray backpack that looked like it had seen 1,000 miles. She was sitting on a fallen log, staring at the trees, completely still. I approached. Standard ranger protocol. Make contact with solo hikers. Make sure they're okay. Offer assistance if needed. Good morning, I said. Beautiful day for a hike. She didn't respond. Didn't even look at me. Just kept staring at the trees like I wasn't there. Ma'am? Are you all right? Do you need any help? Still nothing. I moved closer. Waved my hand in her peripheral vision. Ma'am? Can you hear me? She blinked. Stood up. Adjusted her backpack. And continued hiking north. Like I'd never spoken. Like I didn't exist. Just walked past me without acknowledgement and continued up the trail. I watched her go. Concerned but not alarmed. Some hikers are antisocial. Some are so absorbed in the hiking experience they tune out everything else. Some are just rude. I made a mental note and continued my patrol. But I saw her again. The next day. Same place. Mile marker 4.5. Same fallen log. Same position. Same blue jacket and gray backpack. Same 1,000-yard stare at the trees. I tried speaking to her again. Same result. No response. No acknowledgement. She just stood up after a few minutes and continued hiking north like I wasn't there. This pattern continued for weeks. Every day I patrolled that section I saw her. Same location. Same time, always between 10 o'clock and 10:15 a.m. Same routine. Sitting, staring, standing, hiking. Never varying. Never acknowledging my presence. I asked other rangers if they'd seen her. They had. Same description. Same behavior. She'd been hiking this section daily for as long as anyone could remember. Years. Every single day. Same route. No one knew her name. No one had ever gotten her to speak. She was just the regular hiker. A fixture of the trail. As permanent as the trees. I tried to let it go. Tried to accept that some people are just strange. Some people have routines that don't make sense to others. Some people want to be left alone. I should respect that. I did respect that. for a year. But the thing about seeing someone every single day is you start to notice details. Small things. Changes. Or in her case, the complete absence of change. Her blue jacket never got dirtier. Never got cleaner. Always the same level of faded. The same small tear on the left shoulder. The same missing button on the right pocket. Never repaired. Never replaced. Always exactly the same. Her backpack never changed either. Same worn patches. Same frayed straps. Same faded green water bottle in the side pocket. Never a different bottle. Never a different pack. Always identical to the day before. And her face. This is what started to disturb me. Her face never changed. Not in the way faces normally change. No new lines. No sun damage despite hiking every day in all weather. No seasonal variations in skin tone. No signs of aging. Just frozen. Like a photograph. Like she wasn't actually experiencing time passing. Like she was stuck in a single moment that repeated endlessly. I started documenting her. Taking photos every time I saw her. Comparing them. Looking for differences. Looking for proof that she was a real person experiencing real time and not some glitch in reality. Some loop. Some echo of a hiker who'd walked this trail so many times she'd become permanently imprinted on it. The photos were always identical. Same pose, same expression, same shadows falling the same way. Like I was photographing the same moment over and over despite taking the photos on different days, different weeks, different months. In April 2020, 3 years after I first saw her, I found her journal. Found it on that fallen log where she always sat. Just lying there. Open to a page covered in handwriting. I should have turned it in. Should have logged it as found property. Should have followed protocol. But I didn't. I sat down on that log and I read it. The first entry was dated June 15, 2003. Day 1. I'm hiking the section through Chattahoochee. 12 miles. Woody Gap to Neal Gap. It's beautiful. Everything I dreamed it would be. I feel free. I feel alive. I feel like myself for the first time in years. Normal journal entry. Standard hiker writing about their experience. Nothing unusual. The second entry was dated June 16, 2003. Day 2. Hiked the same section again. I know I should move on. Cover new ground. But I loved yesterday so much I want to experience it again. Same trail. Same views. Same feeling. I'll continue north tomorrow. Still normal. Hikers sometimes repeat favorite sections before moving on. June 17, 2003. Day 3. Hiked the same section again. I meant to continue north, but when I got to Neal Gap I felt pulled back. Like I'd forgotten something. Like I needed to check the trail again. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I'll definitely continue tomorrow. A note of concern in this one. But still within the bounds of normal hiker behavior. The entries continued. Day 4. Day 5. Day 6. Each one describing the same hike. The same 12-mile section. The same growing sense of compulsion. The same promise to continue north tomorrow that never materialized. By day 30 the entries changed. Day 30. I can't remember why I started hiking this trail. I know I had a reason. I know there was something important about finishing the act. Something I was supposed to prove or discover or experience. But I can't remember what. All I remember is this section. These 12 miles. This is the only part that feels real. The only part one can hold on to. Day 60. Day 60. I tried to drive home yesterday. Tried to leave the trail. Got in my car, started driving, and 3 hours later I was back at Woody Gap starting the hike again. I don't remember turning around. Don't remember making the decision to come back. But here I am. Like I never left. Day 90. Day 90. I don't remember my daughter's name. I know I have a daughter. I remember the concept of her. The shape of her in my memory. But her name, it's gone. I tried to call her yesterday, but I couldn't remember the number. Couldn't remember where she lives. Could only remember this trail. These 12 miles. This is all that's left. The entries became more fragmented after that. More desperate. She was forgetting everything except the trail. Her job. Her family. Her home. Her name. Everything was being erased except those 12 miles and the compulsion to hike them daily. Day 365. 1 year. I don't know who I am anymore. I know I'm hiking. I know I'm on the Appalachian Trail. I know these 12 miles are important. But I don't know why. I don't know my name. I don't know where I came from. I don't know if I had a life before this trail or if this trail is all there is. All there ever was. The final entry was dated June 15, 2004. Exactly 1 year after she started. There's something in these mountains. Something in this specific section of trail. I've seen it. Twice now. Once at mile marker 4.5 where I always rest. Once at mile marker 8.3 near the creek crossing. It looks like nothing. Like a space where something should be but isn't. Like a hole in the air shaped like a person. And when I look at it, I feel things being pulled out of me. Memories, thoughts. Everything that makes me who I am is being drawn into that nothing space. And I can't stop hiking. Can't stop coming back. Because every time I hike this section, I'm hoping I'll remember. Hoping I'll find what was taken. But all I do is lose more. Become less. Until eventually there'll be nothing left but the hike itself. The routine. The endless repetition of these 12 miles forever. That was the last entry. June 15, 2004. 17 years ago. And the woman I'd been seeing every day for 3 years was still hiking that section. Still sitting on that log. Still staring at the trees where she'd seen the nothing space. Still trying to remember who she was. I stood up from the log. Looked around. The forest seemed different now. Darker. More watchful. Like something was paying attention to me. Like something had noticed I'd found the journal. I'd learned the truth. I should have left. Should have hiked back to my truck and driven away and requested a transfer to a different forest. But I didn't. Because I needed to see her again. Needed to look at her with this new knowledge. Needed to confirm what I now suspected. I waited. Stood on the trail at mile marker 4.5. Watching the southern approach. And at 10:07 a.m. she appeared. Walking at her steady pace. Blue jacket. Gray backpack. Same as always. She reached the log. Sat down. Looked at the trees. Same routine. But this time I was looking for something specific. And I saw it. At mile marker 4.5 between two oak trees, there was something wrong with the air. A distortion. Like heat shimmer but wrong. Like looking at space that had been cut out and removed and replaced with nothing. A person-shaped nothing. Standing. Watching. Waiting. The woman on the log was staring at it. Had been staring at it every day for 17 years. Drawn back to this spot. Compelled to sit here. To look at the thing that had taken everything from her. To hope that maybe today she'd remember. Maybe today she'd get back what was stolen. But she never would. I understood that now. Whatever this thing was, it didn't give back. It only took. And it had taken everything from her except the compulsion to return. The muscle memory of hiking. The hollow routine that was all that remained of a person who'd once had a name and a daughter and a life. I approached her. Sat down next to her on the log. She didn't acknowledge me. Never did. But I spoke anyway. "Your name is Catherine," I said, reading from the first page of her journal. "Catherine Sullivan. You have a daughter named Emma. You started hiking the Appalachian Trail in June 2003. You wanted to finish it. You wanted to prove something to yourself. But you only made it 12 miles before something in these mountains took everything from you except the hike itself." She didn't respond. Didn't move. Just kept staring at the nothing space between the trees. "I'm going to help you," I said, though I had no idea how. "I'm going to figure out what that thing is and I'm going to make it give back what it took. You're going to remember. You're going to go home. You're going to see Emma again." Still no response. Catherine stood up. Adjusted her backpack. Continued hiking north. Same as always. Same as every day for 17 years. Lost in a loop she couldn't break. Trapped by something that fed on memory and identity and everything that made her human. I've been researching for a week. Reading every account I can find of strange occurrences in Chattahoochee. And I've found 6 other cases. 6 other hikers who disappeared in the early 2000s. All on the same 12-mile section. All last seen hiking alone. All never found. Their cars left at trailheads. Their gear found abandoned on the trail. But no bodies. No evidence of what happened to them. I think they're still out there. Still hiking. Still trapped in loops like Catherine. still being drained by whatever that nothing space is, still forgetting everything except the compulsion to walk the same trail over and over until there's nothing left but movement. Routine. The ghost of a hiker with no memory of why they started or where they were going. And I think it's starting to happen to me, because I've been having trouble remembering things lately. Little things. My mother's birthday, my old apartment's address, the name of my first pet. Memories that should be solid are becoming fuzzy, fading, like they're being pulled out of me. And I keep being drawn back to mile marker 4.5. Keep finding excuses to patrol that section. Keep sitting on that log. Keep staring at the nothing space between the trees. Keep feeling something watching me from that absence. Something patient. Something hungry. Something that's been feeding on hikers for decades and has decided I'm next. I'm writing this down while I still remember how to write. While I still remember my name is Diana Foster and I'm a ranger and I have a family and a life outside this trail. I'm writing this before it all gets taken. Before I become like Catherine. Before I'm just another regular hiker trapped in an endless loop. Another person reduced to pure routine with no memory of who I was before. If you're reading this, stay away from mile marker 4.5 on the at section through Chattahoochee. Don't hike it alone. Don't stop to rest at the fallen log. Don't look at the space between the oak trees. And if you see a woman in a blue jacket sitting there staring at nothing, her name is Catherine Sullivan. She has a daughter named Emma. She's been lost for 17 years. And she needs someone to remember who she is because she can't remember anymore. And if you see another ranger joining her, sitting on that log, staring at that same nothing space, hiking the same 12 miles every day, that'll be me. Diana Foster. I was a ranger. I had a family. I had a life. I knew who I was. But I'm forgetting. It's happening faster now. The pull is stronger. And I don't think I can fight it much longer. I don't think I want to fight it. Because the only thing that still feels real is that section of trail. Those 12 miles. That log. That nothing space that's calling me. Promising that if I just keep hiking, if I just keep returning, eventually I'll remember. Eventually I'll find what was taken. But that's a lie. I know it's a lie. The thing in those mountains doesn't give back. It only takes. And soon it will have taken everything from me except the hike itself. And I'll join Catherine. And the 6 others. And whoever else that thing has claimed over the decades. All of us hiking the same section forever. All of us trying to remember. All of us failing. All of us lost. My name is Diana Foster. I'm writing this while I still remember that. While I still know who I am. While I still have enough left to warn you. Stay away from mile marker 4.5. The thing that lives there is still hungry. Still feeding. Still waiting for the next hiker to stop and rest and look at the space where something should be but isn't. Don't be next. Don't let it take your memories. Don't let it reduce you to a loop. A routine. A ghost hiking the same trail forever with no memory of why. My name is Diana Foster. I'm pretty sure that's my name. Or it was. Before I started forgetting. Before the trail became all I could remember. Before. What was I writing about? Why am I holding this pen? Where am I? Right. The trail. Mile marker 4.5. I need to get back there. Need to sit on the log. Need to stare at the trees. Need to remember something important. Something I lost. Something I need to find. I don't remember what. But I know it's there. At mile marker 4.5. Between the oak trees. In the space where something should be. I need to go. The trail is calling. It's time for my hike. Same section. Same routine. Same. Who am I?
Friends, that was the story for today. I hope you enjoyed it and that it stayed with you in the best chilling way possible. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you. Your time and support truly mean more than you know. This channel is growing because of listeners like you. If you want more real and disturbing encounters like this, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel continue bringing these stories to life. And if this story gave you chills, let me know in the comments. I read them all, and your thoughts make this community stronger. Until next time, turn off the lights, double-check the room, and I'll see you in the next story.